Hey everyone, how's everyone doing tonight? Uh, I'm Sai, and we are live tonight. We're going to do an open panel, and I have a few videos to show. We're going to have some fun, hopefully, talk about different things. And hey, guess who I have online?
Hello.
Mud. Hello,
Hi,
how are you
everybody.
doing?
I'm doing good, doing better than I was.
That's what's up. I'm glad you're doing well tonight.
Thank you.
How you been? How you been feeling?
Feeling a lot better. Today I actually had a burst of energy, so I cleaned something.
Yay!
Yay! Doesn't matter what I clean, just as long as I clean something.
There you go.
Yeah.
We had like crazy weather here. We're in the 90 degrees and it's been garden's doing wonderful though. We got tons of strawberries and everything else is growing. The tomatoes are doing well. I know you do strawberries too and you do a whole
Yeah.
bunch of
They
different
kind of
things.
already ran, and the runners died, but now they're at that stage where they're pushing out more runners.
Oh, okay.
So we've already had the first crop, so we'll have the second crop probably end of summer.
We had
Hopefully.
like we had like 30 so far and we have a ton of flowers on them. But our tomatoes are really coming in. It's kind of like a jungle out there. We have to go
Yeah.
trim up and stuff like that.
I don't have as many as you do. I've just got the one pot, but that's kind of how I grow. I'll start small and just whatever survives, it'll take over, and then I'll enlarge that area as appropriate. So, probably by the end of the year, I'll have a strawberry patch a little bigger than what I do here. They're sending out more runners, so we'll see.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going crazy. Like everything is just growing
Oh,
and
yeah.
growing.
We harvested our watermelon. Wasn't as sweet as I had hoped it would be, but the vine is still living and it's got other tendrils and it's got more melons on it. I've counted 3 babies so far and I haven't even really looked. This is just what I've seen while I've been out there weeding. And butternut is really taking off. It's going to take over that back area. And I'm harvesting peppermint for tea. I sent you some. You're going to love it.
I can't wait to get it. Hopefully it'll
Yeah.
be here. You said Monday or Tuesday, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that's what she said, Monday or Tuesday.
I'm very excited about it. Noelle, I see you in the backstage, but I can do a live stream with you by yourself.
Hey,
Tonight
Jacob.
we have everything planned, so I'm sorry, honey, I can't let you on tonight.
Hi, Noel.
I hope you're doing well, sweetheart.
I was just thinking of her. That's really synchronous. I was just thinking about Noel and wondering how she was because I hadn't seen her in a long time. And there she is.
Yes. And I do hope you're doing well, Noelle. And again, just email me and I'll get a live stream up for you. Okay. So I have found what I think is, I know it's not a Mandela effect for you, Mud, but for me, and let me see who else is out there, possible Mandela effect. Um, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, did they ever have a production company named Desi Lou? So let me know. That was never a thing. And supposedly it produced Star Trek, Mission Impossible, The Andy Griffith Show, and so on and so forth. So send me an email or write in chat or write in. Yeah, Crunchy said he never heard of it. Hey, Jacob, how you doing? Oh, let me do the Who Is Here. Siri Syndicate was first in, Mud Rabbit second, Daniel Riffle, Jacob Waters, and Noel, and Crunchy B. Thank you guys for showing up. And Lurker, because I know you're out there, you count too. So thank you guys.
I have
But
to apologize to Jacob for bugging out last night and not saying anything. I was falling asleep while I was sitting in his channel.
Yeah, I was over at Jacob's yesterday too. Good stream. So if you guys want to go check him out, he's really cool.
That's
And he
Jacob
has
Waters right here
Jacob
on YouTube.
Waters.
Let me go get his channel.
Mud, do you want to put his
Yeah, I'm getting it right now.
link up for? Thank you. And we also have Zero coming up.
What in the violence rage bait is going on in here?
Nothing
Hey, how you
going
doing?
on with you. Are you existing?
Well, if apparently if I'm being perceived, I must be existing. That's an unfortunate side effect, isn't it?
Yes.
I just want to interject since Jacob gets into the wrestling and the fights. I hope you're going to carry that 250 UFC on the White House lawn.
Jacob, are you going to show that?
Well, he can't show it because it's a copyright thing. I'm sure it'll be on Right Side Broadcasting, but he
He
does
does live
commentary.
commentary. Yeah, he
Yeah,
does live commentary.
he
Like
keeps
he
you up to
watches the
date.
fight and he tells you everything that's happening.
Yep.
All right. So if you want to see the UFC, right? UFC
Yeah,
fight.
the UFC for the 250th anniversary on the
He
White House
says yes.
lawn. If you want to see the actual thing, check out Right Side Broadcasting. That's RSBN in on Rumble.
So
Yeah,
I just
you're on. Oh, okay, fine.
no. Go ahead. Go.
I
Well,
was
he's
going to tell
covering it.
Mr. Waters that he's on Rumble, so he can technically stream it on Rumble, but I wouldn't advise streaming it on YouTube. You can still
Right.
do your regular commentary on YouTube.
Yeah, you could co-stream it on Rumble on your channel, I think. But yeah, he's covering it. So everybody that's interested in the commentary on the UFC Freedom 250 card, come on over to Jacob Waters. Link is in the chat.
All right. So I wanted to show you guys. I have a picture that I took out of a window. I know you guys have already seen it. Mud and Cursed, you guys have already seen it. But I wanted to show everybody. I took a picture, and I took this picture because I thought it was oddly light out at 4 o'clock in the morning. But when I went and looked at the picture a little bit more, I saw what is not my kitchen in the reflection. So whose kitchen is this? I have no idea. But I wanted to quick
Oh,
show
you're talking about the picture where this reflection does not match what is behind me.
yes. So I don't know if it was two different realities or any of your thoughts on what caused it would be cool, but I wanted to show you guys anyway. Let's see. I'm going to add to stage. Might be hard to see because it is a reflection, and part of it is of a wooded area. But if you look at the left side, I don't know if I could blow it up anymore. If you look at the left side, there is a refrigerator there, and there's no cabinets on top of the refrigerator. First of all, my refrigerator is not on that side of the wall. Second of all, I have cabinets on top of my refrigerator. Every which way that this kitchen is set up is not set up to what my kitchen is. So basically, it's not my kitchen. Whose kitchen is it? I don't know. But could it be possible?
Basically, for a reference point, the refrigerator is darker, and none of them pictures resemble any of the pictures in the shape that they are on her refrigerator.
Right. So what I can do is I'll bring up my kitchen. That's the difference. That is a picture of my kitchen.
Now zoom in on the refrigerator so everybody can see the difference in what they was looking at and what you're showing.
Yeah, let me see if I can zoom it in. Okay, see, my refrigerator is on this side of the wall, not the side of the wall that has the plates on it. And I have cabinets above it. Let me see if I can zoom in a little closer. Oh, that's way too close. Y'all don't need to see what vitamins I take. So, yeah, that's a big difference between this picture here. Huge difference. But there should be cabinets up at the top, and the magnets are definitely different. And the whole kitchen's situated different. So I don't know whose kitchen this is, but if it's somebody that's watching, I'm sorry for showing your kitchen. I don't know that it was your kitchen. So can we exist in parallel realities at the same time? That's the question. Like two different realities at the same time.
Mr. Waters brought up the pepper jack cheese again.
Mr. Waters brought up what?
Mr. Waters brought up the pepper jack cheese again.
Every time I talk about the Mandela effect or anything like this, Mr. Waters brings up the pepper jack cheese. Usually to curse, though.
It's where the cheese came from, is that altar kitchen.
So, how many messages did you get for saying people online aren't real, Mr. Waters?
No, I was not upset with you, Jacob. I was actually joking. I was joking, trying to lighten up the mood a little bit. I know
Yeah,
the difference.
if you go back, his original statement was people online aren't real people. I was like, hold on.
Hey, I'm real. I'm not a bot.
Yeah, everybody jumped on him, and he was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And he's like, a lot.
I'm not a bot.
Just for those of you who did not see Jacob's show last night, he was trying to explain the differences of friends online versus friends in person and how you may act differently with different people. And he accidentally said that people aren't real online.
But I
Well,
can
hey,
tell you it's the half dead internet theory because for every one of us, there is one of them. Go ahead, Joe.
To be perfectly honest, there are a lot of people, a lot of bots out there, and a lot of these trolls that come in there. And if you've ever sat on a wild night in Jacob's room, you'd see exactly what I mean.
To answer your question, Crunchy, my fridge in my reality is silver, but you are not the only one that said that that refrigerator looks black. There are several people that, and you actually mentioned the Keurig,
Looks great,
which
man.
me and Kirst were like debating about whether that's a refrigerator or a Keurig with stickers on it. But, but yes, I do
Weirdness
understand.
abounds.
And yes, Jacob, you did say that Mud Rabbit was real. You just didn't add me in that equation. So that's okay.
Yeah, real people get hurt.
So can we exist? What do you guys think? Can you
Oh, Lord.
exist in two realities at one time?
I don't know, but we've both had some weirdness happening.
What
One
is your perceptions about let me explain, let me frame it to you this way, Mud Rabbit. During a shift, is there a moment where you can perceive both realities at the same time?
I think I don't think we recognize it as such at the time it's happening. We just, it's like one of those WTF moments.
Well, what if the WTF moment happens right during a shift? Could you be able to perceive both at the same instant?
I don't know, but I think there are clues. We see clues
Okay,
all
so
the time.
she's agreeing that you can perceive multiple realities at the same time, and I would say multiple instead of parallel side, but you have your words, I have mine.
I'd say it's
No,
possible,
I agree with
but
you, Kurt.
I'd say it's possible. This is my thought. It's probably possible, but whether we are aware of it at the moment, because some people are so locked out into this third density reality, they don't even think of that possibility. And then you have clues. You have little things that are kind of like out of place to prove that it happened.
I went to go ask Mud Rabbit how's her fifth density doing, and she plucks me in the forehead. That was wrong.
So Jacob said that you could be in two realities at the same time as long as there is not another you in the second reality.
Oh, that's the paradox theory.
Yeah, remember he thinks that for every action there has to be a direct correlated action reaction
I
whenever it
don't
comes
know.
to
I think all things are
transferences of
possible.
realities. Whenever it comes to transference of reality, like if he left this reality, another would have to appear. Something would have to appear in his place. That's how Mr. Waters thinks.
Well, see, that's weird because I do believe that I was for the last month in two realities at the same time.
I
Multiple times.
think we
And I
get.
can acknowledge that we did a flip, flop, flip, and then went to a completely different reality recently.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'll agree with that.
And that's the best way I can explain it because we was somewhere which was the flip to the flop, which apparently they didn't like where we flopped to, so they flipped back to where they were, and now we're in a completely different location that they've decided to agree upon, but that's jumped twice within 72 hours.
Well, a day before yesterday, when we had that huge, massive solar flare bump into our planet.
We had a massive solar flare.
Yeah,
Well,
coronal mass ejection, CME. That's what caused
They
the
took us to a reality where we did not have a Currington event.
well,
Thank
no,
you,
the
Mother Alex.
Schumann resonance resonates at 7.8 hertz. We all resonate with the Earth. That goes up and down depending on what's going on. We've had a lot of earthquakes lately, so sometimes you'll see that jump to other numbers, but it always settles back to 7.82 or 7.83, something like that. Well, the sun blasted it for hours on end. That coronal mass ejection was coming toward the planet. And when it hit us, the vibration of the planet shot up. There's a video that I sent to Sai for her to see, but I'll put a link into the channel for you guys to go watch it. It shows where it was just a white screen. I was looking at it at SchumannResonanceToday.com or what is it, .org, and the whole screen was white, which meant it was doing
You're
this
talking
for
about
hours.
the blue screen with the red line, and whenever
Yeah.
something happens, it becomes like white or red, really
Yeah.
white.
But this
Oh
time
shit!
the whole thing was white, clear across the board while that thing was hitting the planet. And people were saying that they were having, feeling tinnitus. Other people would get injuries. Other people have little illnesses because the body's adjusting to a different frequency because the planet's not vibrating at 7.8 during that time you see that whitewash. So your body is trying to adjust to that because we all vibrate with the planet we live on. So while the body was doing that, you would feel a little bit ill, maybe nauseous, maybe an ache or a pain. Maybe you got clumsy and kept tripping on stuff. So yeah, it kind of sets you off a bit. And what it's doing is your body's trying to match the higher frequency, and it's
That's
not used to
crazy
it.
because like 3 days before that happened, during the whole time, my head was fucked up, and then
Yeah, you
as soon as it happened, it stopped.
yeah, and you had the buildup because all this energy. I mean, the planetary system is electric, the electric universe. So when something happens with the sun, we're only the third rock away. We're going to feel it. We've had Carrington events before, but luckily we have more sophisticated tech now that it won't knock everything out. But it still affects the planet, and the planet affects us.
well, the thing is, I felt the shift in April, about April 23rd. Then there was another one around the same time in May. And then there was another one
Yep,
a
yep.
couple days ago.
There
So
was a
I felt them
big one, a couple
and
days
sitting there
ago.
like, and I'm sorry, but people have changed during these shifts. I have seen many people change during these shifts. And I'm sitting there saying things that they wouldn't normally say, acting in ways they wouldn't normally act. And I don't know if that's a switch in realities or if that's just part of the Mandela effect, but, or it's both kind of deal. So it's been very interesting to watch how people have changed in these last 3 shifts. And why are they so close together? They were never that close together before. Now they're close together. But I will swear I was in 2 different realities at the same time. I could feel it. I could feel that things were off. I could feel that one was one way and one was something else, and not necessarily opposites or parallel to each other, but just different from each other.
It put me in an energetic mode when this big one hit day before yesterday, because I've been spending a good part of the first half of this year recovering from one thing or another. So when that happened, I could feel it in my chest. It just gave me so much energy. I mean, I've been cleaning, I've been folding laundry, I've been doing the things I haven't been able to do for a while. So yeah, it affected me too, but I get energized from it.
Yeah, it's been like crazy. It's been
Hmm.
absolutely crazy.
For me, it's been kind of a happy chaos. There's been some bad things in the background that have been a little difficult to deal with, but as far as my personal life goes, it's just a bunch of happy chaos, here at the house.
So does anybody have a theory as to what that reflection was showing other than
What,
somebody else's kitchen?
the
If you have
Schumer?
a theory, let me know. That
Oh,
picture
that.
I showed, why it's different than the kitchen that I have.
I haven't got a clue. It's odd.
So if anybody has a theory, I'm happy to hear it. And you're more than welcome to come up. The link is in the pinned in the bottom of the chat. You used to pin it up top. Now it's pinning it at the bottom, and sometimes it'll pin it up top. The other thing I saw too that was really weird is the moon has been very different lately, where we went from the normal phasing to from side to side, then we went up and down, then it went back to side last week, and now it's back to down and up. So we're phasing, the moon is definitely phasing very strangely.
Hmm. Well, it's still on time. I'm waiting for the new moon to do some more planting. That's what, the 19th? Or no, the 14th.
Okay, the 14th.
Something like that, yeah.
And I do want to show a video. Actually, Mud, you sent me this video. Um, it's on X. Let me see if I can bring it up.
Is that the short one?
Yeah, very short one.
Oh, let me
So
set,
just give me a
well,
minute.
show it first and then I'll say what happened to me. I don't want to give it away.
Wait for it.
Love when the computer runs slow. Loving it.
Don't you miss the days whenever you could cook a whole Thanksgiving dinner and your email still wouldn't load?
Hey, I lived it. We were really happy when we got 28.8 internet speed. Until then, those pages loaded so slow because you were going 14.4. Now we have broadband
Oh, yeah.
and
Okay.
Wi-Fi.
You?
Glitchy matrix is going on this morning, okay? I've been holding off on making this video because I'm not into conspiracy theories and all of that bullshit. But something happened this morning.
We can tell.
Okay, so check this out. I have this necklace I've had for years. One necklace, one set of earrings that matches it. It's been broke forever. It's been in the drawer. I don't wear it. So tell me, how come the other day I was going through my dresser and I found a third earring? I couldn't find this one forever. And I kept having one on my dresser and one on my little box I put my jewelry in at the end of the day. I found it the other day. Why are there 3 earrings? Where did this one come from? Okay. So what brings that to mind is the fact that I'm walking down the hallway to go grab my purse and my coffee so that I can leave for the house this morning. I look down on the floor and I start freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God, my house key. Yes, it's Yoda. Sit on the floor. My fall. I run back and go get in my purse. And I pull out my keys. Y'all. Hold on. Okay. My keys. Here's the one I found on the floor. I have bought 2 of these. Y'all, and it's the same key to the same house. I've only ever bought 1 key to this house. All of the spares are just over. Where the come from to match the set that already
Why is it so aged?
has the earrings to it?
Hold on. What were you saying?
It's freezing and stuff, but I saw both the keys at the same time, and the one that's not on her key ring, it's kind of weathered, like it's older or
Yeah.
it's been left somewhere or
I think they're
something.
camouflage. It's a cami print. When she
It's
holds them up,
Yoda.
It's
yeah. When she
faded.
holds them close, you can see they match.
It's still faded. It looks faded to me.
Either way, I had something similar happen to me yesterday or a day before yesterday. Yeah, the same day we had the flash. I had a similar experience. So something weird is up. Things, showing up that you never expect, things you haven't seen in a long time. I had a puzzle ring I bought when I was, I think, 14, sterling silver. I paid $9.99 for it. Silver was cheap then. And that was, God, back in the early 70s, 71, 72, somewhere around there. Well, I wore that all through my teens, wore it after I got married. I just put it on the other hand. And when I had my son, I had to take all my jewelry off. I gave it to my mom. And I have not seen this ring in 50 years. And my dad came out the other day with a box. He says, there's this box that was in your mom's things. He says, I haven't looked in it yet. And he opens the box and there's my ring. I haven't seen this ring in 50 years. I've forgotten all about it.
And just to
wait, I'm
sorry.
not done. The reason I think this is so astounding was because 2 days before I found the ring, it popped into my head. I was like, wonder whatever happened to that. I gave it to my mom and I haven't seen it since. And 2 days later, it pops up in her box. So it's almost as if you can call something to you, if you understand that principle.
Well, I call me $1 billion.
I don't think it works for things like that. I think it works for things you already have an energetic attachment to. She had energetic attachments to both the key and the earring. I had a strong energetic attachment to this ring. And it's weird that I wouldn't think of this ring for 50 years. And then all of a sudden went, gee, wonder whatever happened to that ring. I remember that ring. And 2 days later, it show up.
And just to point something out, because we always look at all plausible things that go on whenever shifts occur. On the 26th of May, the LHC did some sort of test. It was the second of 3 tests, but they actually shut down, turned off the LHC on June 3rd. And all of this starts occurring every time they decide to do anything with the LHC. So I just wanted to point that out as well.
I know. There's always some sort of weird coincidence with that.
If the LHC is looked at strangely, something occurs with a reality shift similarly related to adjacently.
There was this train of thought, and there's a girlfriend of mine that has a perfect way of explaining it. I wish I did. She's very strong at visualization. When she wants something, she'll get a frame from the Dollar Tree, and she'll start cutting out pictures of things she wants. When she wanted her house, she started finding things in magazines that she would like to put in that house, and she would look at that thing several times a day and just daydream on it and pull it to her. She'd start buying things that she wanted to put in that house, little trinkets, dishes, things like that, and getting rid of her old stuff, kind of like she's preparing to move in. And then one day, boom, a house went up for sale super cheap, and it was exactly the house that she wanted. Not the way it looked, but it was a Delco house, which is one of those round houses. It was the coolest thing with the balconies all around and the lakes and the ponds. And she did it through visualization. And I learned that from her. She says, if there's something you really, really desire, she says, focus on it, because you have to bring it into your reality. So now that we're seeing the veil thin, why not try it? Start visualizing what it is you need in your life, to set things right. And I don't mean materialistically. I mean, you can ask for things that aren't material. But I think this is a good time to start thinking in that direction. We have little examples all around us.
Okay. I am emotionally attached to $1 billion. And
Visualize
technically,
it.
You're being hilarious.
Girl,
She's being facetious, satiristic, and everything all at the same time. She's doing this intentionally.
girl,
yes,
you
I'm
get
being funny.
yourself a frame and you start cutting out pictures of gold and money and silver and whatever, and see if it works. See if it works. It's what you
Crunchy
need.
said, make it even
It's what you
bigger.
need. Just do it. See, what's it going to hurt if you don't try? Just try. What have you got to lose? It's not going to cost you anything except a frame from the dollar store.
So is that along the same lines as the manifestation?
Yes, you bring into your reality, you visualize those things, and you act as though you already have it. And for some odd reason, I have seen this girl get a house. I've seen her get a car. I've seen her get a freaking husband. I mean, come on. If it works for her, it's got to work for other people.
Wait. When did we shift to a reality where propagate that light was a thing?
It's propagate that
This
light.
light
Right. No,
is propagate this
it was
light.
not. It was not originally. It was propagate that light. As in propagate, everybody should propagate their light. Now it's propagate this light, meaning only his light.
Okay, so and I came from a reality where it was the light or this light. Now you're telling me that it was that light or this light? Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, and some remember it the light.
Okay, so he gave himself a triple entendre. How unique.
Yes. But Blue and I remember it as propagate that light, not this.
I've only ever seen this light, is my answer.
Okay. But I don't know about the manifestation thing. I really don't. I don't. Not that I don't.
She calls it visualization.
I believe you have
Yeah,
to keep.
because she actually has to use props to cause it to occur, but you don't need the props.
You don't need the prop if you're good at it, but for her, that's what worked. You have to find what works for you.
It's a good crutch.
You still have to find what works for you. And the way women think, men can focus on something and keep it in mind, but women think of several things at the same time. So if we have something like a framed picture that's right where we see it when we wake up and right where it is when we go to sleep at night, that's what the first thing and the last thing we'll think about. And we'll think about it all day. And if you keep it in a positive light, there's no telling what can happen. I mean, look at where I'm at. I've given testament to this place. It's not my house, but I wish it was. But hey, I'm in a good place. I'm in a happy place. I'm where I want to be.
Well, I think that's important to be realistic.
Exactly. And that's what I wanted.
I
I'm
joke
in a safe
around
spot.
saying $1 billion, and $1 billion would be nice. But
Well, to be
But-
honest,
Well-
I think in a year, money's not going to matter really.
Blue Pac-Man. According to Psy, there's only one of her and many of those. To answer your question from Psy's point of view.
yes, there's one of me and many of them. So
Some of
I
the
travel
channel-
through.
Some of the
I-
channel-
And my answer to her is each and every one of them say that exact same sentence, but she's still adamant.
I'm adamant. Yep.
we had a question in our group about that, and it was explained to us that we, the humans, are the fragmented soul units. When we fell to this density, we're not the fallen ones. Don't get it confused, but we fell into this density. And when we came here, we fragmented. Take that for what you will, but to me, that implies that we're living in more than one space at the same time.
Why do you think I'm gathering all the me's to become complete?
Good luck with that.
It's fun. It's an adventure. Yay! It's kind of reverse Jet Li's the one.
Well, the whole point of being here is to learn how to do it this way. And then when you get up past fifth density is when you become one, when everything comes back together.
And ninth density just sucks.
Right now, you're individuated and you're fragmented.
Whee!
Yeah. Isn't it fun?
You're fragmented.
Gather all the
we
pieces.
are all
Gather all the pieces of the
Well,
soul crystal so we
what
can
does
survive.
what does that apply to you, a fragmented soul unit?
That implies that the soul is not complete. That there's still more learning and stuff
There's
like
other
that.
personalities out there. There's other us's out there. There's other. And
Not
it's
only
not-
one of me.
And it's
Multiple of
not
them.
just other dimensions that they're in. They're also here. Because
Hey, stop
I've
trying
run
to
into my
tunnel around the
doppelganger.
side. She's not going to fall in the hole.
Yeah, I've already run into two of my doppelgangers. I went to high school with one, and the other one worked at the bank up the street from the restaurant I managed.
Wait a minute. I thought you worked at the bank.
No, I never worked at a bank.
Okay, then I ran into the other mud rabbit that worked at the bank.
And she walked in to get a takeout, and I was at the front desk. And when we looked at each other, we just froze. She even had her hair in a ponytail the same way I wore mine.
That must be fucking ridiculous.
It took us for a loop. We just kind of stood there, and then we laughed at each other, and we switched names. She was a teller at the bank where we did our deposits. But the other one I went to high school with, and she and I were friends, and our teachers thought we were twins, but she was 1 year and 1 grade ahead of me. And everybody thought we were identical twins.
So Daniel said that he could think of a couple of TV shows that symbolically show people gathering fragment souls. I'm not sure which ones they are. Daniel, you want to let us know? Can you guys think of any TV shows that
I can think of one, but I can't
Dark
remember
Crystal.
the name of it. Quantum Leap, was that one?
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was Scott Bakula.
Because there was a deeper lore behind simply just going through time, saving people, and making sure they do certain things. There was a deeper lore if you actually watched the whole series. but I don't remember what that was.
Hi, Kat.
I'm trying to see. We'll wait to see if Daniel has any suggestions. I think it's interesting if that is true.
I would think Quantum Leap would be one.
That was a good show. That was a really good show. I used to watch that all the time.
Oh,
But-
we have to realize that a lot of Western culture is vastly different from a lot of Eastern culture.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because in Eastern culture, you can actually take on the gods. But I didn't say that in a westernized situation.
Well,
Excuse me for
it's
speaking.
because we're largely a Christian country, so that's kind of like the overlay in some of the culture. But one thing my grandmother taught me was that some people, like my mother-in-law, if she saw or dreamt of snakes, that would be like a bad thing. You know, she would be worried about it. You know, that was her superstition. But where I grew up, snakes were pets. And when I would dream of snakes as a child, they were beneficial. They were helping me. We were doing things there. I was petting them. I was holding them. They were friendly. So this is something that's different in our culture that would be in her culture. Because if I told her about the dreams I had as a kid where I had snakes and reptiles in my dreams, she'd freak out. But when I grew up, I kept reptiles, I kept iguanas, I kept snakes, I kept tortoises and turtles and all these things. So it has a different connotation in this culture than it does in hers.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
To think
The Eastern culture is really cool.
Yeah, the Eastern culture, well, to the Arabs, snakes are bad things. But to Americans,
You Westerners are kind of
we're weird.
strange.
We're
Hey,
all
at least you can admit it. At least you can admit that you're a bit strange.
Sweetie,
Talk-
I've been
talk for
strange
yourself.
my whole life. I've been the oddball. I've been the one that everybody whispered about. I'm just glad I grew up.
We got David coming up. Say hi to David. Hey, David.
Hey, the guy that wanted to talk to me. What's up?
Yeah,
Hi,
I
David.
just wanted to do just this panel with you guys. So, I wanted to talk to you first because of your perspective on all this.
Here's my brain. Do you want tweezers or chopsticks or pliers? Which one?
You're going to need all three.
Because I'm having Chinese right now, man.
Chopsticks are best. Okay.
Chopsticks are best.
Yeah, just wipe him off. We don't want any rice in his brain.
He wanted to pick my brain, so here's my brain. What tool do you want to use?
Like I said, chopsticks. We'll go Chinese with this, man. Chinese philosophy.
No.
Yin and yang.
Oh, we're going this way. Here's your simple answer.
Of course.
That's the simple answer.
Yeah. That everything's a circle with influx of dark and light.
Yeah, there's a difference between this and the actual yin yang symbol, which is quite obvious once you look at it. That's the simple answer. The more deeper answer is that more or less there's equal and opposites of everything. So before there was light, there had to be darkness, and technically after there is no longer light, there will be darkness again. The whole point of any philosophy that is viewed, you notice that darkness is simply defending while the light is the more aggressive one.
Does
Really?
see?
Greater good versus the betterment of all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Curse. I don't know. But I did.
You want to take the Abrahamic religion?
I don't, we don't do religion on here, right? You know that.
Okay. Well, we're moving forward.
Yes, we're moving forward. So I guess what David's trying to say is your opinion of reality and what's making the Mandela effect happen, and et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, that's purely synthetic. That's purely man created, playing with things that they don't know what they're doing.
So do you think
That's
it's
the highest
because
likelihood. It's the highest likelihood.
they're doing all kind of energetic experiments, they're doing all kinds of crap on the earth they shouldn't be doing through technologies, they're doing all kinds of things that we were never meant to do on earth that are affecting all the different energies that
Yeah.
existed on earth prior to them doing this?
Yes, we're influencing what we understand are the boundaries of reality. And whenever let's just, yeah, I'm saying in one simple sentence that we're basically incompetent and extremely intelligent all in one breath. Somehow, some way, we're figuring out how to do this, and according to the population, we're just all being gaslit, and we're told that we're misremembering things. And there's a way to also look at it where it's what we're perceiving is being changed instead of reality itself changing. That is another perspective of what is going on because of how we interpret reality.
So what do you think about all the physical changes? I mean, the fact that the physical reality has changed, even though it seems like nature, or at least the natural world, seems to stay somewhat consistent on some levels in some ways, but it seems like it is affecting every aspect that we understand as reality. So what I mean is like a couple of years ago, I was out here, I'm in Indy right now, around the same time period. Okay. There's birds. Of course, there's birds. But about 2 or 3 years ago, I was out here in the same area. There was one day or 2 days in a row where there were thousands of birds out on the phone lines. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. I've never seen anything like it since. That's all gone. That reality where all those birds existed simultaneously populating the skies is gone. Now it's back to, I mean, you see birds, but like it literally was like the movie The Birds. It looked like the movie The Birds. So that was a physical shift in the physical manifesting birds on a level I've never seen in my entire life. It was you'd have to kind of be here when it happened to go, what the hell just
I completely have a story like that as well, where I'm walking down a street and I'm talking to somebody, and we're sitting here having a conversation about basically controlling reality in an instant, and they're talking about they haven't seen a raccoon in forever. So we're walking up to this hedge, and we turn the hedge because that's the way the sidewalk goes, and we see a raccoon in the middle of the fucking street. And then it looks at us and just fucking hops away. I'm like, look, you just made that happen.
That's what I'm saying. I've seen that kind of shit too. I've had that. That's really weird that you mentioned the raccoon thing, because I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago. Let's see, it would have been 2019. I was living in my apartment. I didn't even talk about it. I thought about it. I was like, where are all the raccoons? Because, dude, I live in the city and raccoons would always be in the fucking trash. Like, you would walk by and sometimes you'd see a raccoon messing around with the fucking trash. I go in my backyard in my apartment and I go out to meditate and quiet myself and just sit. There's the raccoon, little raccoon. I'm like, okay, I just thought about this yesterday, and there it is. But it's true. Like, I don't see raccoons everywhere anymore, which is a weird thing. And then I saw one the other day in a park. But it's like, what do you think is causing that? Because it seems to me
that can be, like, I can say your misremembering answer, or that can be chalked up to cognitive awareness, or I can also sit here and agree that you manifested yourself in a location where you'd be able to perceive a raccoon.
isn't that the whole what is the thing that they call it where you only things exist? What is the theory where nothing exists until you observe it? What is that?
I think that's kind of along the lines of the simulation theory.
So it's simulation, but there's an actual term that I've heard deemed to where it says, like, basically until an observer comes into the presence of the physical reality, it doesn't exist. So
There
it's
was
like
a scientific experiment to that point. Yeah.
That's what I'm
it's
talking
the thing is, like, if a tree falls in the forest but no one's there to hear it, doesn't make
Right.
sense. It's kind of like a
The
philosophical.
vibrations still exist.
I think if you stay in the right frequency for what the thing it is you're aiming for, you eventually get there. Some people take longer than others.
Do you think
I think when we get involved in the mechanics of it is when we become navel gazers and forget what we're looking for.
do you think that all the
Say the word, but I'll put it in the chat.
do you think all the spraying of the skies have killed off a lot of the bugs?
Yeah. I think it's killed off a lot of people too.
Because I
noticed
noticed
I had a website back in 1997, 1998 that showed all the chemtrails that they were spraying above the skies. It was, they haven't stopped. And I started noticing it in the early 90s.
That's not considered a conspiracy theory because I can give you the government name for that. Is everybody ready?
Oh,
it's called cloud seeding. It's called cloud seeding.
It's already been declassified, and it's not the cloud seeding. They're spraying barium, aluminum, and they're doing bacterial spraying and all kinds of nasties on us. It's a depopulation issue.
So what do you think, Mud Rabbit? I think I've asked other people this. What is the end game of all this? Because it seems like, so all these people that are doing it, the governments and these people who put all the vaccine, like jabs out. What is the end goal of all this for the rest of us? Because it seems like all these people with lots of money have been doing things to humanity for centuries.
Yep.
When anybody gets together and starts questioning, go ahead.
Let's get back on track into the supernatural, not into the political. Let's get back on track on that. But
all right, sorry.
Well, let me ask a question. David, do you have your own YouTube show?
No, I had a YouTube thing and I just haven't done it for like 3 years.
Yeah, we got to find a place we can discuss that because I do have a lot of information.
Your answer is less than 130 years, cat in a birdcage.
All right. Right on.
So
about 13 decades is your rough answer.
Are you on X, David?
No, but I have Discord.
I'm on X.
Oh, did you finally get Discord?
Yeah, well, I've had it. I hadn't downloaded it again. So I've had Discord for a long time. I've had Discord for about 4 or 5 years.
If you get on X, I'll put my X handle in there. And I'm also on Truth Social, but I'm more active on X.
Okay, cool. Cool.
David, Curse put his Discord in chat for you.
Oh, sweet. I'll hook it up on my Discord.
I
Kirst,
just dropped
can
it
you
on the
do
chat.
it?
It's Maggie DeFair.
That's yours in X.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kirst,
I
Same,
might.
same icon. Same icon.
How does X stream? Does it stream all right? Does it
Yeah, a
screw
lot of
up?
people are streaming on it. And then you have the discussions where people can log in and just discuss things. A lot of people stream on X.
Cool. Right on.
Okay, so everybody's fighting over the microphone. Yes, Sai, what are you attempting to say?
Can you please show the video you sent me in Discord? I'm afraid if I show it, it will skip all over the place. It's the last one you sent.
Oh, you want me to share the brand new all-time video? There's some old ones here, but the first 2 or 3 are like new, but the old ones are yeah.
Yeah, if you can, I'd appreciate it.
All Time did a new one.
Hold on, David. He's pulling it up. That's
Cool.
fine.
I like All Time.
Boom, boom.
Did you want me to skip anything in here?
No, just play it. What do you think? 1.25? We could try it that way.
We can ask the audience.
All right. Hey,
We can
guys.
ask
Yeah,
the audience if
cool.
this is too fast.
Yeah, guys, mute up, okay? So people don't hear the
Today we're
background
checking out
noise.
Mandela effects related to books. We all know the line, elementary, my dear Watson. It's one of the most famous catchphrases in literary history. But here's the problem. Sherlock Holmes never actually says it. Although many people remember this phrase, it is shockingly never said even once in the works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's work. This includes all 56 original short stories and 4 novels that had to do with Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. So,
Yeah, I think that's too fast.
Hold up, he never said that. I just have to.
I know. A brick came out of my anal cavity too. That was the first one he opened up on, and I'm like, what?
I didn't know that one was gone.
Yeah, that's why I said. And look over to the right. Look over to the right. Do you see something
Okay.
on the right that looks weird? I'm going to just press play again, Sai.
Go ahead.
today we're
Interview
checking out
with
Mandela effects related to
a
books.
vampire. Book.
We all know the line, elementary, my dear Watson. It's one of the most famous catchphrases in literary history. But here's the problem. Sherlock Holmes never actually says it. Although many people remember this phrase, it is shockingly never said even once in the works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's work. This includes all 56 original short stories and 4 novels that had to do with Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. So where did this Mandela effect come from? Well, that's the mystery. This phrase has been known for decades, and yet was never said in Sherlock Holmes. Here's a new Mandela effect that tons of people have been talking about lately. It's about Stephen King's 1983 horror novel, Pet Sematary.
Did he say it in the
Yeah.
TV show?
I have no idea whenever he said it, but I don't know. I have no idea. But
Mud, do you remember that?
Not really.
You don't remember Elementary, my dear Watson?
Well, that's all I remember. I don't remember seeing it in any of the books, so he's correct there.
Okay.
I never read the books, but I do remember the show, the black and white show they did sometimes, and I think it was on
Yeah.
like PBS or something.
Yeah, I think I remember that too. We had to do book reports when I was a kid, so they'd make us read things like that.
And then in all the cartoons, like Looney Tunes, TOONS,
Mhm.
they'd always quote that.
Yeah.
They'd always quote it. They'd quote it in all like Animaniacs and cartoons from the 80s and 90s and from the 50s and 40s.
Yep.
so
I
I'm going to
remember.
pause on this video whenever it gets to that point on this part.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Ready?
Yep.
Go ahead.
This one is getting popular right now because of the title's spelling. It's apparently not actually spelled cemetery, but rather cemetery. For once though, a Mandela effect actually has an explanation. Apparently the spelling is off intentionally. Turns out this book was inspired by a real event. a handmade wooden sign created by local children for a burial ground for their pets. So that's the explanation for the weird spelling, but that doesn't explain why so many people.
Now, I remember it's spelled properly, but in the movie, it was improperly spelled on the sign.
I remember it spelled improperly on the sign in the movie, but I didn't read the book.
That's the only part where I remember it spelt with the S, was improperly on the movie. Any other time it was presented with the proper spelling.
See, I always thought it was the proper spelling, and I never saw the movie, so I don't recall. I don't know what it said because I never saw the movie. So I know the movie, I know about it, but I do know that the first spelling, that it was always spelled that way whenever I went to Blockbuster. So I'd go to Blockbuster, I'd see the movies, and I was like, I don't want to watch that. So I never did. But it was always spelled the top for me. So like I said, I don't know how, if it was if it was misspelled in the movie. But for me, I know that it was always spelled properly for the title.
What did you find, Mud?
I'm not a Stephen King fan, so I never really paid much attention to it.
Oh, I thought you found something. So I'm going to hit play now. Sorry.
Go ahead.
People remember it spelled this way, myself included. It just looks so weird now. So which one do you remember? Here's a weird book Mandela effect that has bothered people for years. Danielle Steele is a famous author of over 200 books, with her first novel releasing back in 1973. What makes this near household name a Mandela effect? Well, it's the spelling of her last name. So many people out there remember it spelled Steele with an E at the end, but apparently it's always been Steele with no E at the end. But a massive number of people, all independently, remember Steele with an E. And residue to support these memories can be found on old forum posts, book reviews, library entries, and even newspaper articles and reviews. It's just strange that the same mistake would happen over and over again for decades. So what do you think? Which one looks more familiar to you? And speaking of...
My bad. So I thought we wanted to talk about that one.
Yeah, I remember it with the E at the end.
So do I. I didn't ever read the books. So, but I do know the author.
Correct. I spent a lot of time in the library, and her name did have an E on the end of it.
Yeah.
Everywhere you'd see those books, there was an E. Those books were everywhere. You could find them in grocery stores, sometimes in the book racks.
My mom belonged to a book club. She had a lot of them. It had an E.
It had an E on the end.
Yeah.
Because those books were like everywhere in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah,
I saw that book, those books. I never, but I know it was an E.
She was popular. My mom had a lot of her books.
Well, that's the weird thing. Like, if you take the E off the end, it's just like you steal. You know what I mean?
It's like steal like a freaking metal bar. Like what? Yeah.
So this one coming up, I've heard one time before. So whenever you're ready, I'll push play.
Go ahead.
Books from the 1970s, Bridge to Terabithia is a 1977 children's novel by Catherine Patterson. This book was later translated into a movie in 2007, and today's Mandela effect has to do with the book and the movie. This Mandela effect has to do with the death of the character Leslie and how Jess, the other main character, finds out about her death. So my question today is simple. In the movie Bridge to Terabithia, did they show Leslie's accidental death? Yes or no? The answer is no. They don't actually show the rope breaking and Leslie falling and hitting her head. Her death is simply explained by Jess's parents when he gets home. I don't have a strong memory either way on this Mandela effect, but a lot of people online did. It seems like every other comment is back and forth with the scene. Some argue without a doubt that it shows the rope break and that Leslie fell and hit her head, while others argue that it was never shown, only mentioned. One comment I read claimed to remember their kids crying when Leslie fell and how she had to explain over and over again it isn't real. So what gives? Some speculate that the movie may have been altered, that this death scene was originally in the movie but was later cut out because it was primarily for kids and young teens. So the question now is it possible that Bridge to Terabithia was altered post-release? Well, I looked into this and it's absolutely possible, but without studio confirmation on an edit, we can only speculate. Digging deeper into this mystery, I discovered the original runtime is listed on movie Showtime websites as 1 hour and 36 minutes. The digital copy that you can rent or purchase today has the exact same runtime. So an edit post-release is extremely unlikely unless they replace the missing footage with the exact same amount of extra footage, which seems really complicated and unnecessary. To believe that, we would need evidence of a new scene, and no one has mentioned that or talked about an extra scene in this movie. So as far as I can tell, this movie was not altered or cut. Next, let's talk about the famous book, The Portrait.
I don't know.
Okay,
that.
here we are.
I don't know The Bridge to Terabithia.
I don't know that one enough either. I never saw the movie, so
I can't be definitive about it.
Does anybody else know that movie in chat?
I never
But
heard
I
of
think
it.
I think
Daniel
I'd heard.
seems like he had a memory of it.
I think I'd heard there was a death scene in it, and that people said it was really sad. Don't watch it. It's really sad. You'll cry, get upset. Like, don't watch the movie. It's a really sad movie. So, I mean, I recall people talking about the death scene, possibly. They were like, yeah, she died. Like, I mean, I heard people talk about it. So I never saw it, so I can't confirm either way, but I do think there was possibly a death scene in there based on what other people said. So I don't know. I just know people, when I was younger, talked about that a lot because they talked about the movie. They talked about how sad it was, and, you know, so it's possible that there was a death scene based on what people had talked about around me. But I never personally saw it, so I have no idea.
I'm going to back this up a few seconds, and I remember vaguely the idea of this next one, but I don't even know this next one at all, is what I'm trying to say. But I know the idea, the principle behind it, and the moral of the story, like a story. You get my point? Okay.
Yeah.
Next, let's talk about the famous book, The Portrait of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. The basic plot of this novel is that Dorian Gray wishes to remain young and handsome, while a painting of himself takes on all of his aging. As the years go by, the portrait of Dorian Gray becomes older and increasingly more grotesque, reflecting the consequences of his immoral actions. But here's the Mandela effect. This book isn't actually called The Portrait of Dorian Gray. It's called The Picture of Dorian Gray, despite what so many people remember. What about you? The entire premise of Dorian Gray is basically avoiding the consequences of getting older. Unfortunately, real life doesn't work that way. We all get older, and one thing that a lot of people put off as long as possible is taking care of.
And this part is the ad.
Okay.
See, ad.
I see that.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to push play now.
Now, let's get back to the video. Our next Mandela effect is a classic, all about a vampire book written by Anne Rice in 1976. Is it Interview with a Vampire or Interview with the Vampire? Now, this is one of those classic ones where so many people remember it as Interview with a Vampire, but apparently it's Interview with the Vampire. So many people get this one wrong, and people have debated and argued this for so long. So which title do you remember?
Like I said,
Let's talk about the book series Curious George, a series started back in 1941 by H.A. Ray and Margaret Ray. Here's the
Can you
thing.
pause it? So
Yeah.
The Interview with a Vampire. Interview with a Vampire, Interview with the Vampire. It was Interview with a Vampire.
Depends
It was
on
always
which,
Interview. Go ahead. Sorry.
it depends on which movie you're talking about. There's two. There's Interview with the Vampire 2022 with Jacob Anderson and Sam Reed. And then there's Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Chronicles with Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. That's 1994.
And it was Interview with a Vampire in 94 for me.
Just to clarify for everyone, he's making a video about book Mandela effects. So all these are considered books instead of movies.
Okay. But even with the Interview with a Vampire, it was, even the book was Interview with a Vampire for me.
Okay, I haven't.
I knew plenty of people. I knew plenty of people who read that book.
It
And they
went
were
from
have you read Interview with a Vampire? Have you read Interview with? No, I have not read Interview with. Have you read No, I have not. Like, So for me, it was Interview With. And
So
then
Daniel said it was a vampire. My uncle had it in the store. Yeah, I remember an interview with a vampire, not the vampire. That could be though.
The Portrait of Dorian Gray was what I recall too. I don't recall it being picture.
It's picture because I saw the 1945 movie and it's always been picture for me. And on Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice, the book is the, not a.
So it was always picture for you because it was portrait for me in the reality I lived in. So that's
It's
weird.
always been
Dorian
picture of
Gray.
Dorian Gray. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. But it's in black and white. And I used to like the old black and white scary movies.
Yeah, I knew it was done a long time ago, and they also
Yeah.
did they did the last movie that what's his name, Sean Connery did the men, the extraordinary men of the Extraordinary League of Gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
They had Dorian Gray in there, the portrait.
Yeah. I saw that movie too.
So I recall it being portrait, but that's what I came from. So
I think this is the only relevant one left because I skipped over Curious George and his lack of tail is your answer to that. And there's just ones that we already know that you want to rediscuss those?
You can skip over Curious George, but what are the other ones?
Yeah. There's one more, and it's right here.
Okay.
That really got me.
Our next book, Mandela Effect, is not about a specific book in particular, but about one of the largest and most significant libraries of the ancient world. Let's talk about the Library of Alexandria. When the Library of Alexandria was burnt down, how many books were lost? Everything? Almost everything? Tell me what you think. Well, it turns out it didn't burn down at all. In fact, it survived for hundreds of years afterwards until its eventual decline. The Library of Alexandria was an incredible idea, to preserve a copy of every book in the world in one place. That was the vision of the rulers of Alexandria 2,300 years ago. They built this massive library to house all of humanity's collective knowledge, and it attracted scholars the world over to study and contribute. In 48 BC, Julius Caesar attacked Alexandria during the Roman War with the Greeks and burnt up all of the ships in the harbor. The assumption was that this fire spread and that the Library of Alexandria was either burnt up or partially burnt up. Well, now the story goes that it never caught fire and none of the scrolls actually burnt up. This goes against everything that I had ever learned, but what can you do?
okay, I'm going what? That's alternative history.
Anybody besides me first. Yeah, exactly, David. It's like, what the hell?
No, what dude? We were told that there was this mass library called the Library of Alexandria, and it burned down, and they lost the whole thing.
Yeah. Everything was
Alternative history, straight up. It's like
Totally was talking about this shit not even a week ago. And the person who I was talking to was supposedly a lot more intelligent than I was, told me that place totally was burnt to the ground.
and now you found out it wasn't. I mean, of course, sure. Whatever they say. Whatever they say.
History's been a lie. That's propaganda.
So Cy, we have Berenstein, we have Grinch, we have the Bible. That's basically what's remaining on here.
Okay.
So what are the
So-
Bible things he's highlighting?
All right, so
We
he
know the
mainly
Grinch.
highlights the obvious lions and the lamb. He highlights God's name and he highlights Noah's Ark.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the Noah's Ark one? I know about the God's name being jealous now and the lion
Yeah,
and the
that
lamb
was
thing.
always the same for me. That one's always been jealous for me. That the line that he's pulling out, yeah, that's always been the same line for me.
Oh, really? See, for me, it was his name was like Jehovah
or something like that. So, yeah, his name being jealous, that's new to me.
That's the demiurge.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think we can skip those. Correct.
Any more votes for the Noah's Ark one? Because that would be like the only one that I'd like to go over, unless everybody already knows the revision of that story.
I don't know that one. I don't know what
I don't
changed.
You know what? Go ahead and do the Noah's Ark one.
Just the
I wanna
Noah's
hear
Ark one. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's wrap this video up with one final Mandela effect that has multiple stages. In the book of Genesis chapter 8, it talks about the world being flooded and Noah on his ark with all the animals. How many days did this last? Really think about this for a second. How many days was Noah in the water in his ark with the animals? Did you think it was 40? Maybe 40 days and 40 nights? Nope. Turns out that's not correct. It lasted between 370 and 380 days. Not only that, after all the
So first and foremost, my answer was a half a year, because I know it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, but now they're saying it was greater than a year. So everybody else's turn.
40 days and 40 nights.
40 days and 40 nights for me. There was a song about it. We used to sing a song about it in church.
I can agree that it rained for 40 days and 40 nights is what I can agree upon.
Yeah,
Right.
That's where I'm at. It rained for
Yeah,
40
Daniel
days and
said
40
42.
nights, because that's what the Bible says. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights.
But it took about a half a year for them to get off the ark. And originally, from my understanding, because he's going to walk into this one as well, sending out the bird, it was only like 2 of them. And once one came back with a leaf, that's whenever he decided to find land. So I'm going to push play again.
Okay.
flooding, what bird did Noah first send out to look for land? Really think about it for a second. I know a lot of people probably said dove. Then you're incorrect. Noah actually sent out a raven first, then a dove, and then that dove came back. He waited 7 days, and then he sent another dove out that came back with an olive leaf. Then Noah waited 7 more days, and he sent out another dove that didn't come back. So now it turns out he sent out a raven, and then 3 doves, and the second dove found the olive leaf, and the third one just, I don't know, died, drowned somewhere. It's very confusing. So let me know, is this what you remember? Is this how the story goes in your mind?
Which of these book
What?
That's all, folks.
That's all. So
Okay, I have an answer for that. The Bible states it rained 40 days and 40 nights, but it also states the fountains of the deep were opened up. Noah was in the ark for 150 days.
160 days, 150 days. Like I said, about a half a year.
Yeah.
so where do they get 300
Saying
or
it's
whatever?
between 350 to 380.
I don't know where they got that, but it says Noah was in the ark for 150 days.
Hmm.
And I am clear on the Bible saying it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. The flood didn't last 40 days and 40 nights.
It lasted more, obviously, because
Yeah.
even whenever I was a teenager, I had that question.
Well,
How
the
long were
fountains
they
of
on the
deep-
boat?
The fountains of the deep were also opened up. It wasn't just the rain.
Well, I don't recall it being that long that it was flooded. So, being 300 and what they say, a year? Is that what it says?
Yeah,
now?
50 to 380.
See, I don't recall it being that long.
And I remember what Mud Rabbit says. Did you say 150 or 160, Mud Rabbit?
150, 150.
Yeah, I remember somewhere around that number, like 150 or 160.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's what's in the Bible.
That's yeah, because it rained it for 40 days, 40 nights, and then it was for like half a year.
And yes, I can say that the Younger Dryas occurred. So we're agreeing with this statement.
Yeah. So on a historical plane, what about the flood on the earth? What, because there are many cultures that say it happened. It's not just in the Bible, but like
Give me a minute. So does it
Yeah.
actually say in the Bible 350 to 380, or are they just speculating that?
I think they're speculating that number because the Bible says 150.
Okay. So
You have the book right in front of you right now,
Which
or
is
do I
about
have
what,
to
5
double check?
months? Well,
I
wait, how
don't
many?
have it right in front of me right now. Can you look it up, Kirst?
What do you want to look up? The Bible verse?
Yeah.
I'm on Quora, but I'll go to.
Look up the Bible verse because I just went on the two ducks and told them to come back, and they went to the Orthodox Church and said Noah was on the ark for approximately 370 days.
This is Genesis 1. Let me find out where she's going with this. Do you want to hear the rest of it sounds like this comes from a geologist. Do you want to hear the rest of that?
No, we just
Okay.
are looking for the verse in the Bible. What it says.
Okay. It's in Genesis 7:1. I have to read through it.
Oh.
8:14 might lead you to a better answer, but you have to do a cumulative counting.
8:14. Okay.
Yeah, because it's everything between chapters 6 and 8, including chapters 6 and 8.
Okay, Genesis 8:14. And in the second month, on the 7th and 20th day of the month, was the earth dried. But we're not talking about the kind of calendar we have now. It came to pass, Genesis 8:13, it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, the first day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth, and Noah removed the covering from the ark and locked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the second month of the 7 and 20, so that would be February 27th, 27th, was the
So we
earth
went from the
dried.
17th day of the second month to the 27th day of the second month. Because we start back in Genesis 7:11, and that tells us the day we started, and Genesis 8:14 tells us the day we ended.
Okay, what's the math?
About a year, a little more than a year, 17 and 27.
Let me see. 7:14.
7:11 and
And they went
8:14.
into the ark 2 and 2. Oh, that's that. That's the animals. And the flood
7:11.
was 40 days upon the earth, and the waters increased and bare upon the ark, and it was lift up above the earth. And the waters prevailed and were increased greatly upon the earth, and the ark went upon the face of the waters. 15 cubits upwards did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. Not saying anything about the time here. Let me go back. Okay. The 600 year of Noah's life, the second month and 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day entered Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, and the sons of Noah and Noah's wife and the 3 wives of his sons with them into the ark. So 600 year of Noah's life, we'd have to know what date it was. They only give his age.
It was the 17th day of the second month whenever Noah was 600, whenever they got onto the ark. It was the 27th day of the second month on Noah's 601st year whenever they got off the ark. I just copy pasted it into the chat. Yeah, it's a little over a year. Roughly 10 days over a year.
So we've got a bunch of numbers.
But the thing is, what chapter and verse does it say that?
That's Genesis 7:14 all the way up to
Genesis
8:14.
7:11. Genesis 7:11 tells us when they got onto the ark. Genesis 8:14 tells us when they got off of the ark.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So about a year and 10 days.
It's interesting what this woman has to say geologically too.
But a year and 10 days, are they going by the Gregorian calendar? Like, this is confusing.
Or the Julian, that's the whole thing.
You're right.
Well, they wasn't even using the Julian calendar back then, to be honest.
That was the question in my head too, is what kind of calendar were they using then?
Okay, so
You have to look at that other Bible, but you don't like looking at that other Bible.
a year and 10 days, that'd be 375.
I
So
have an idea. There is I wish I still had the book. I wish I still had it. The Jehovah's Witnesses have a book. It's a reference book, and it's called Make Sure of All Things. And this was before you had internet, and you could go in there and look up the phrase that you had in your head, and it would help you correct it and lead you to that part of the Bible that had it. And you didn't have to use their Bible. I didn't use their Bible. I used a King James at the time. But I'm going to see if I can find it online.
So, yeah, you're welcome. I'm going to get out of here. Trips.
thank you, Cursed Trips. All right, so the Bible said that basically 375 days.
It's
No.
online. Oh my goodness. I hope they have the whole book here. Where is it? I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I just want to make that clear. But this is a very good book for anybody to have in their library. Honest to God. And I'm seeing it on Amazon, and I'm seeing it in thrift stores.
David, do you have any recollection of that time frame?
Which with the
375 days, basically.
No, I thought it was more like 150 or 140 or some shit. It was like, I don't recall it being for a full year. At least in the reality that I grew up in. I thought it was, because it was raining for 40 days, 40 nights, and then it was like 150 days or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It sounds changed to me.
Well, none of it's. Remember, we've had the Bible messed with too.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
the Mandela effect is
Both
messing with the Bible big time.
both Mandela and man have messed with it. So
everything in the Bible is messed with on whatever level.
Mm-hmm.
Whether translations, people retranslating it and translating again, or Mandela effects, or
And then along came Constantine. So
yeah, or any of it, you know. So it's whatever at this point.
basically, we're on our own.
Yeah, it's kind of that way at this point.
Yeah.
Because the Bibles are so convoluted at this point, and there's so many translations and so many people that have tampered with them, and then they're so Mandela affected at this point that it's like you don't know what to navigate through it, because it's so, the narrative's in a sense changed. Because if we had the core of it back in the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, however far back, because they started tampering with the translations. If you've ever heard of did you ever heard of the Geneva translation back in the 1500s?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty old copy.
Mm-hmm.
But like, even in that copy, I think it was in Ephesians, it talked about the governments being evil. So like in the original translations, they were saying not just principalities and authorities, but evil governors.
Yeah.
So they were basically saying, hey, don't trust your government.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
and then they
look
changed
at
it.
what we're living with and the things that we believe. Pharmacopoeia is Greek for sorcery.
Well, all of the pharmaceutical industry is a form of,
sorcery. Exactly.
yeah, it's a form of pharmakeia.
Exactly.
It's manipulation of the emotions that get damaged through the crazy ass world we live in.
Mhm.
So like, I was just talking to someone last night who I would have hoped jumped on here today about what happened to all the people we knew in our childhood. Like, most of them are strung out or dead. Like, well, not all of them are strung out or dead, but most of them are still using, or many of them have passed because of overdoses in the last like 10 years. But many of them, you know, some of them are still just smoking weed and they never go back to like all the other drugs, you know, but like most of the people that
Like-
we were talking about are just on freaking, you know, a cornucopia of pharmaceuticals. And it's just like,
the thing is, that doesn't have to do with the Bible changes in the Mandela.
no, we're not talking about the Bible changes.
No. So it's kind of like the Bible changes in the Mandela effect have been huge. There are strains like EYA and
Kerwin.
Kerwin as well that cover a lot of them. So go check them out. I usually do not talk religion or politics on this channel. However, I do have a parallel universe and glitch in the matrix video if you guys want to watch it. I think it's really interesting. I was gonna bring it up, but yeah, Noah was not in the ark for 375 days back in my reality.
Yeah. So I agree with that. Like 100%. It was like 100 and, like I said, 150 or 140 sounds about right. It was somewhere like half a year. So once again, Mandela affected Bibles, Mandela affected culture, Mandela affected
Right.
Well, I don't think
movie
Noah was the
lines.
only. I don't think Noah was the only one that survived that flood either. Because if you go back in the legends of
What?
if you go back into the legends of indigenous peoples, they got the warnings too. They talked about the flood.
So there's other cultures that
have the flood story.
had basically survived it.
Yes. And they were told to build their boats. There's, I think in Mexico you find it. You find it among the indigenous people in Canada and the United States. And here is something that people will make you think twice. The only place in the world that gopher wood grows is Florida and Georgia.
So is gopher wood the wood that they used to create the ark?
Build the ark.
Huh. So where? Georgia and where?
Florida.
That's their only places it grows?
Only place in the world.
What? No.
Mind blower, isn't it? Yeah, look it up.
Nah.
Yep.
That's kind of weird.
You need swamps for that stuff. It is weird, but it's true. And the Israel that is the Israel we're told to look at today as a country is not the Israel of the Bible.
Well,
you haven't had a smoke, man? Do you smoke or do you just smoke vape?
David,
you got a cigarette?
Mute your mic. Mute, David, mute.
Mute. Sorry.
I don't smoke. Well, I don't smoke cigarettes.
I'm going to show this video. This is pretty cool. I like it. So glitches in the Matrix stories.
Intersect with alternate realities, offering us glimpses into parallel universes. These tales challenge our understanding of reality, inviting us to question what lies beyond the realm of the known. The nebulous neighbour. In April 2017, in the town of Ashland, Oregon, married couple Frank and Edith Walsh became convinced they had witnessed an inexplicable paranormal event unfold before their eyes. It all began when their next-door neighbour, a petite blonde woman named Jessica, who was expecting a baby, went into labour and left for the hospital.
Being able to
Listening
build
to
an app
alternative
with
realities.
your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Yeah.
Several days later, Frank and Edith were surprised to see an unfamiliar woman outside Jessica's house holding a newborn baby. She was Jessica's physical opposite, tall with olive skin and dark brown hair. Both Frank and Edith were certain they were looking at a stranger, yet this woman cheerfully introduced herself as Jessica, chatting with the Walshes as if they were old friends. Thoroughly confused, Frank and Edith cautiously went along with the conversation, though they exchanged questioning looks. Over the next few weeks, the new Jessica was frequently seen around the neighbourhood with her baby. Her husband, Adam, seemed not to notice any change in his wife's appearance. Frank brought up the issue first with Edith, relieved to find she recalled Jessica as blonde-haired and fair-skinned also. The longer the new Jessica was around, the more convinced the Walshes were that something utterly bizarre had taken place. The woman literally looked like a different person from the neighbour they had known for 3 years. Unsure who to talk to about the bizarre situation without sounding insane, Frank and Edith avoided the subject with others in the neighbourhood. But privately, the couple grappled with how Jessica could have been essentially transformed into someone new after a hospital visit. Had she been switched with a stranger while giving birth? Had they both transitioned into an alternate reality where Jessica was another woman? But this made no sense. Why would she share the same name and background? In the absence of rational explanations, Frank and Edith's questions only multiplied. Years later, they still have no idea how to reconcile what they observed. Their once familiar neighbour seemed to suddenly inhabit the body of a stranger, leaving the Walshes to doubt all they thought they knew about the foundations of reality. A tragic transition. After a family...
So that's kind of creepy, right? So you have a neighbor, they look a certain way, they go to hospital, have a baby, come back, and is a different person.
So wait.
Yeah, I think that's creepy.
So
That is wild.
this is a real story, and this chick goes and has a baby. They knew, the neighbors knew her for like 3 years, and then she comes back and she's a completely different woman.
Yeah, with the baby.
What?
I know. I'm getting a brain glitch on that one.
That's just, huh? Like,
Yeah, what do you say? What do you say to that?
What?
That's a WTF
Okay.
moment.
that's beyond. Yeah, that's just okay. What just happened? Like,
It's like,
that's beyond comprehension.
went and had a baby and came back, darker skin, darker hair, different build. It's, and what do you say? You'd be like, hey,
What do you say to her?
that neighbor heart,
You're
I
like,
guess it's heart.
you're not her. Like, where'd you go? Like, what happened to you? Who are you? What do you say to them when you know they were one way and now they're another, and they're fully convinced they're? What about the husband? How did he deal with it?
Unless he's changed too.
See,
Yeah.
I've heard those stories happen in the last like 7 or 8 years. That somewhere between 2015 and 2017,
Yeah, I've heard of.
there were a lot of those stories where men and women, like their husband switched or their wife switched.
That's bizarre.
There's the story that I heard years ago about, I think it was a husband in ketchup or something like that, where like it might have been it wasn't ketchup, it was something like that, where the husband always liked mustard and then he never liked mustard or something. Like little things like that have changed in people's.
Yeah, I've heard of things like that, but I've never heard of anything like this.
Yeah, Daniel said, "What is a place like me doing in a girl like this?"
Yeah.
Right, but I haven't heard of someone completely changing like
Their appearance.
their appearance and identity overnight, like in that way,
Yeah,
where they get shorter and their hair changes and everybody notices except the husband.
like how
Like,
traumatic was that labor, though? How
Well, she
traumatic.
said it was just the two neighbors that noticed, so maybe it was them that got switched into a different reality.
well, see, there's also the story, and I go back to this car story that's wiped from the internet and wiped from YouTube. You can't find it. I have looked and looked and looked. I've typed it in a million different ways, tried to find it again. But it's a story about a car. And this dude had like a Trans Am or something, or a Firebird from the 80s or 90s. It wouldn't have been a Firebird. It was like a Trans Am or something from the 90s. He
Yeah,
always
I
wanted this
used to
car.
have one of those.
And it was red.
Yeah,
He
mine
always
was red.
he always wanted his red Trans Am, and that's what he wanted, and he bought it and he decked it out, and it was his. Everybody knew that he wanted a red one. He wakes up one day in like 2017, and the car he parked last night was red. He knows it was red because that's what everybody knew that he wanted, was a red Trans Am. He goes out to his car, he has the key, and it's white. It's
Oh
the same car.
no.
It's white. And he puts the key in hesitantly and unlocks it. And everything in the side was the same, except that it's a white car now.
Oh,
It's a white
God.
Trans Am instead of a red one. And he calls all his peoples and they go, no, it was always white. So now he's not thinking he's nuts. He's going, what the hell just happened? Everybody knows I wanted a red Trans Am and everybody's telling me it was always white. Like, so
That is wild.
it is. And that you can't find this story anymore. I've looked for it. But it was a real like human being telling it. It wasn't an AI. It wasn't AI generated. It was an
Right.
actual guy telling the story, showing the picture of the car. And it was an actual human being telling the story. So it wasn't AI generated. It was an actual YouTube site. And it was a human being telling it. And it's like, okay, what do you do with that? Like, what do you do with that? I don't know. I don't know how you deal with that, Like, you'd think you were nuts. After everybody telling you, no, it was always white. It was always white. It was always white. It was never red. Like, okay, sure thing. Whatever you say.
You begin to question your own sanity at that point.
Well, yeah, it's like that's what this reality does.
Mm-hmm.
It tries to make you question your own freaking sanity. You're like, nah, I know it was this way. No, it wasn't. We all know it was this way. No, it wasn't.
Right. And so like it gets crazy, especially when you have people changes and stuff like that, not just in external with body, hair, that kind of. I would wonder how much her personality changed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
did her personality change? And if she remembers them,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Like all that extra added stuff. Like, does she? If they went and talked to her, is she going to be the same as she was before? If they had a good rapport, are they going to still have a good rapport? And does she know who they are?
Right.
You
Well,
know,
it's implied in the video that she recognizes them as her neighbors, and the relationship is there because they said that they just played along.
right?
So yeah, she knew them.
Well, what's weird is, you know, I think there's in certain groups of conscious reality here, because I think our identities have been messed with.
Oh, of course.
And that's the thing, is like there are people groups on the earth that believe and think that they know who people really are. So there's
Right.
people who believe certain ways and think and believe that they can tell other people who they really are. You see this in different cult like groups, and you see this and I think this happened in, I don't know if it happened in the 60s. I wasn't there. So I
Well,
don't know.
I just know
But I
that, like,
do know it happened in my
my neighbor,
lifetime in the 90s and in the 2000s with the spiritual groups that I was a part of, was them trying to say, no, this is your real identity in Christ. This is who you really are. This is who. So our identities as human beings through our development through life were being messed with on some levels, because people were like, no, I'm a son of God. I'm a daughter of, I'm a child of God. And I know who I am in Christ, and I know
well, here's the
and this
thing.
is who you are.
That's not what the people changes actually are. It's changes in people, not somebody telling them who they are.
No,
So,
I understand that.
so if my
But what I'm,
neighbor, one second, David, if my neighbor comes out and they look completely different than what they were previously, then what do you do with that? What do you do with
well,
that?
that's a whole other level.
Right.
That's
That's what do you do with that kind of deal?
that's a
Let's
whole
go,
other thing. That's like
let's
the car
go back
being red and
to,
turning white.
yeah, exactly. This is called a tragic transit. Okay. Let's check
All
this
right.
one out.
Tragedy, Alex Reed began to suspect his consciousness had shifted into a parallel reality that was nearly, but not quite, his own. The bizarre events began in late 2020 when Alex's father passed away unexpectedly at age 61. In the weeks following his father's passing, the group project they had started together. They always convened at the same cafe downtown, which Alex knew had a wall decorated with glass jars of vodka sauce. During a visit to the cafe shortly before his father's death, Alex had closely examined these jars, even commenting to Lily about the high calorie count of the creamy vodka sauce. Yet exactly 1 week after his father's funeral, when Alex met as usual, he was startled to see the wall now displayed jars of tomato basil soup instead. Certain the vodka sauce jars had been there just days earlier, Alex questioned the staff, who insisted the cafe had never sold vodka sauce and had always stocked tomato soup. The small but undeniable change was enough to make Alex seriously consider that he had somehow slipped into an alternate world as a result of his recent trauma. Over the following weeks, Alex continued noticing subtle discrepancies that suggested he was living in a slightly altered version of the universe he had inhabited prior to his father's death. Significant events he recalled from his childhood, according to his friends and family, had never happened. One discrepancy in particular which stood out was an accident involving his younger brother Jasper on a nearby park playground, requiring him to get stitches on his lower cheek and leaving him with a faint scar. According to Jasper, though, this had apparently never happened, nor was there any sign of a scar. Stores and landmarks he frequented regularly also either did not exist or had changed names and appearances. The more Alex took note of these differences, the more convinced he became that his reality had been swapped out for one nearly identical, yet fundamentally askew from his own. He is still shaken with the undeniable sense that some cosmic switch caused his life path to fork off into a parallel world in the wake of his father's death. 5-minute foray. In an instant, one.
So that's just like his whole reality changed. Not just one thing. His whole reality, his memories, what he knows, what he remembers, events that happened, didn't happen. I would say he's Mandela affected.
Yep.
I'd say severely so.
That's the thing. It's, from small things like tomato soup turning to tomato vodka sauce turning into tomato soup, and then goes all the way down to like, bam, like physical things aren't the same and places and everything aren't the same. It's really bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
So would you give anybody advice on how to handle that if they came across it? So if somebody said to you, okay, everything is changing and I don't know what the hell's going on, and like my memories aren't the same, everything, is there any advice you could give them? Anybody in chat? Anybody on panel? Is there
I
any?
have no experience. The only experience I have with anything remotely similar to that is people telling me that something didn't happen or did happen that I know did or didn't.
Okay.
So that's about as far as it got with me. And that's always left me mystified because I'm not going to stand there and argue with them and tell them, yeah, don't you remember, and then get in a fight. No, I usually back off and just wonder if that's the WTF moment for me. But I've never had some people actually change on me. Not yet. I mean, maybe some attitudes. I've had some friends just out of the blue cut me off, but not physically change like this girl did.
Yeah, there's been physical changes, everything.
Yeah, nothing drastic, just the little minor, yes it did, no it didn't, type of thing.
Right. There's like some things with that too. You kind of have to wonder like how the person is feeling. You know what I'm saying? There has to be a sense of confusion, a sense of like what the,
Yeah, a lot of time the confusion has been on my part because they're pretty confident in their answer. I'm the one that gets confused because I have a damn good memory. And for somebody to tell me something didn't happen when I clearly remember it did and have the marks and the pictures to prove it, and they're going to stand by their memory.
Right.
It's like, yeah, it did happen. But you're not going to stand there and argue with them over something like that. You're just going to say, okay. Yeah, I'm not going to argue over something like that. It's not
See,
worth my time.
that's the thing with overconfidence on things, is like when people exert how confident they are in something and so sure on something that wasn't that way, it's like they attempt to try and make you question your own knowing.
I've never pressed the conversation that deep. I fell off a horse when I was 7 years old and onto a rusty tin can, which was my first tetanus shot. And it was my chin. So I have this scar across the bottom of my chin for where I cut it on the thing. And there are people in my family swears up and down it didn't happen. And the only two people that swear it did happen was me and my grandmother, because she was there with me in Kentucky and she taped my chin. She's a nurse. And we were miles from a hospital, so she taped up my chin. But everybody else in the family, no, that never happened to you. And I can sit there and show them the scar and they will still deny it. Same thing with the scar on my finger where I got kicked by a horse. And I'll show them the scar and go, don't you remember? I came in the house crying and my hand was all bloody. And no, that never happened to you. So yeah, those are my two things. I'm not going to argue with these people. Like I said, I got scars to prove it happened.
Right?
There's no arguing, because basically, if it didn't
Yeah.
happen or it did happen in your reality, it did or didn't happen in their reality,
Right.
there's no arguing. You can't change.
Especially if you're a kid, you're not going to
100%.
argue with adults.
You know, you're not going to change somebody's mind once they're
Right.
set into what they think. There's like no changing their mind. So if they know that that is a memory of theirs, it may not be a memory of yours, or
Right.
maybe a memory of yours and not theirs, vice versa, whichever. You're not going to change each other's mind. You just kind of got to go with the flow.
Yeah.
The one thing I do suggest as advice to people that have gone through this and that find themselves where they're not in the same reality that they had originally come from is to calm down. Don't overreact. It's not the end of the world. You'll make it through, but also seek out people like this channel and other channels too, who have been through it, that have seen it happen to other people or been through it themselves, and kind of ask questions.
Just view it as an oddity. When you view it as an oddity, you approach it from a different angle. You approach it without any fear or hesitation. It's an oddity. It makes you curious. That's how I view it. Just odd little stuff that happens.
Yeah. All right, let's check out this other example.
Otherwise ordinary day, Emmett Carter became one of few to experience existence in not one, but two divergent realities. Inexplicably and without warning, Emmett's consciousness was pulled suddenly into another version of events. It was October 2022, and Emmett was a 29-year-old video editor living in Boulder, Colorado, with Erin, his girlfriend of 5 years. But in the blink of an eye, Emmett found himself transported to an alternate life where he was married to a different woman, had a house in the suburbs, and worked as an accountant. Emmett's mind was flooded with approximately 2 weeks of vivid and elaborate memories of living as a suburban husband and father in another life where Erin did not even exist. However, this experience seemed to be self-contained as he navigated the day-to-day experiences and relationships without the slightest hint of his true identity or the life he had left behind. To him, it felt as if he had woken from a deep and vivid dream, with 2 weeks' worth of memories from a life that was, yet wasn't, his own, all the while unaware of the bizarre nature of his situation. However, after this period, in yet another sudden and disorienting shift, Emmett was abruptly pulled back into his real life in Boulder. Emmett found himself back in his apartment with Erin, with apparently only 5 minutes having passed. Emmett, overwhelmed and fearing for his mental health, turned to Erin in a panic. He explained his surreal experience, describing the vivid memories of an alternate life that had felt indistinguishably real. Erin, deeply concerned, listened intently and suggested they seek professional help immediately, suspecting that Emmett might have experienced a severe dissociative episode. Together, they visited the ER. The nurse, although seeming incredulous of Emmett's account, referred a doctor to see him. After an initial assessment, he suggested that the episode indeed seemed to resemble that of a dissociative episode, but that it was unusual in its sudden onset and vividness. His lack of any prior mental health issues or other symptoms leading up to the incident, especially at his age, was also very unusual, although not unprecedented. He recommended a thorough evaluation, including a series of counselling sessions and possibly some neurological tests to rule out any organic cause for the experiences. However, as the initial shock of the ordeal began to subside and Emmett's mental clarity began to return, his certainty over the authenticity of his experiences only strengthened. He continues to piece together details of this alternate life in hopes that it might offer insights into that of his own. Together in Another Now. In August 2010,
Well, that's a problem right there, because like they thought he was crazy. You know what I mean? Oh, we lost David. He'll be back. But they thought the guy was crazy. And the fact that they thought he was crazy, like, they didn't take him seriously about what he was saying. They just wrote it off. And I know some people experience that as well. Well, it's like, you don't know what you're talking about, or you're having an episode of some sort and things like that. But it's really, not that. It's really something else that's supernatural that's happening. And that's why I don't know if you guys have ever watched the show Evil. It's basically about supernatural events that happen, and they take a technology person and they take a psychologist or psychiatrist, I forget which one she is, and then they take a priest and they go investigate with the three. I think that needs to be done more. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, not just have one view of it, have multiple views.
Right.
See it in different directions. And that way, you can actually be like, okay, this is what it is, or this is what it could be.
This is what's happening.
Yeah, I think keeping that closed mind that, it must be an episode, and just put them on some medications and just kind of ignore it in that sense. Okay, it's treated now, ignore it. I don't think that works. I honestly don't think that works. We have to find some answers to what's going on in people and that kind of stuff, I think. And David's back.
I kicked myself off by accident.
That's okay. I've done that to myself before too. Join the club.
Listening
We're
to
internet
that,
klutzes.
listening to that, I just watched a weird clip of a movie I didn't know about that came out in 2016.
Yeah.
I didn't know this movie existed. I've never heard of it. I mean, it probably did. I didn't watch a lot of trailers, and I don't recall it existing. So it very well could have. They could have been an alternative, but it's basically about this dude who is in a psych ward type place, but the dude who runs it fills people with parasites and traps them in there, and then makes them his slaves so he can feed off their bodies.
Ooh.
It's weird, but
What's the name of it?
I don't recall what it's called. I can find it in my news feed or in my YouTube feed, but it's got some pretty big name actors in it. And basically he wakes up to it and he's like, we're all being controlled by this dude and we're all being enslaved and he's feeding off of us. And he's planting memories in our heads, and like he's controlling our minds. And like I watched the ending and it looks like everybody gets free, kind of, but like it was bizarre. But in a way, if you think about on an analogy level of this, the food and all the things that we ingest
Yeah.
do create parasites in our body.
Yeah, they do.
So they cause sicknesses and mental and emotional diseases.
Yeah.
And then we go to the doctors and all those people who created all the freaking parasites and all the food. And they're like, you have a mental problem. There's something wrong with you. You need this drug.
Yeah. My grandfather, he was a doctor. He went to medical school and he was so disillusioned, he went into holistic and chiropractic practice. And he told me every summer, at the end of summer before we started school, he would deworm the kids. And he would give us something. I don't remember what it was, but we'd take the pill and drink the liquid, and we get the runs really bad for a night, but we go to school parasite free. And this was once a year thing because we lived in Florida back in the 50s and the 60s. And this was the way you did down here in the subtropics, because kids get ringworm, kids get hookworm, they get roundworm, because they're outside barefoot. And if you've got a cut on your foot, you're going to get something. So every year your kids got dewormed before they started school. Well, for some reason, that's been kind of taken out of the medical profession and they don't talk about it anymore. And when I went to my doctor, I had my new doctor and they always go down the list. What are you taking now? What supplements? Are you on any medications? Yada, yada. So I started listing off my supplements and I got to the last three and I said fenbendazole. And he looked at me. He says, fenbendazole, why? And I said, we live in Florida. He goes, but why do you feel it's necessary? I said, because I grew up down here and this is what we did every year was do a big parasite cleanse. And I said, and people don't do that anymore. And he just smiled and didn't say a word. It was like he knew. He retired recently too. But
See,
doctors aren't taught about it.
That's what's crazy about it's like they're mind controlled.
It's not that they're mind controlled. It's that they're not making any money off of it. So there's a monetary thing. Two, they're not taught anymore in medical school. Another thing my grandfather told me when I was young, he says, no matter what, he says, I don't care what anybody else tells you, you do not get vaccinated. You do not take those vaccines. Now we grow up and we've got more than we had when I was a kid. And the only thing that I ever had was the ones when you're born.
Same with me. I was born in 81.
For the rest of my life, my mom got deferments and all that stuff. And now you've got people saying, this is what our doctor told my husband was there is no shedding.
1 minute, please. Whoever's in the backstage, can you please identify yourself? Okay. I don't know who you are. Can you just write in the private chat who you are and who you know on the channel? I'd appreciate it.
Who is that? I don't see anybody.
So, I do want to get through the rest of this video real quick. Then we'll talk about off work because I got to switch devices in a minute. Then I can't play the video on my other devices. So,
does she have a screen name?
Let's see. Can you see that?
Yeah.
What's the screen?
It says Watering 101. She says she's a woman interested in the topic.
Okay. I have rules. I will kick you off my channel and off the stream if you're disrespectful to anyone. You do not talk over anyone, and you do not curse, belittle anybody, or any bad thing like that. You act like a proper adult, you can more welcome one. So I'll bring you up watering.
Yeah, it's
Hello.
tiny on my screen.
Thank you for allowing me. Can you hear me?
Hi,
Yeah.
welcome.
So are you into parallel universes? Are you into multiple realities?
Well, it was talking about, like double universe type situation.
Yeah.
I have questioned it my whole life, and I've experienced many things of it's. I mean, not just like that, but it's like I've been here before, but you know that you've never been there before.
So you've seen things that were there that weren't there before?
Well, it's like I went to a new place and I could tell you everything about it, every little nook and every little cranny, but I've never been there before.
Very interesting. Has anything else around you changed? Like, do you remember things that have been there, or did
Yeah,
anything?
it's like down there at Cumberland Falls. A lot of people know Cumberland Falls. Well, when I went down there, I felt like I was being suffocated when I walked into this one part of the downstairs area next to the falls. And I kept feeling it in my chest and stuff. And my husband said, "Do you know how many people drown down here every year?" And I said, "How do they drown down here? There's no water." He said, "But when the water rises," he said, "How would you know that?" I said, "I don't know. I wish I did know, but I could feel it."
Are you empathic at all?
I don't know. I don't know nothing about none of that stuff.
Okay.
I feel other people's feelings. I mean, I guess
That's
empath.
empathic.
That's what people told me, but
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing about it. And when we first moved to our home here, I kept having dreams about a log cabin and the people in it and all this stuff. Never knew nothing about the land. And then the neighbors told us that there was a log cabin behind our home that was demolished a long time ago, and told us about all the people who lived in it. And I
Oh,
dreamed
wow.
about every single one of them.
Wow.
Wow.
It freaked me out. I didn't know how to feel.
That is kind of freaky. I would have been fascinated. I'd go digging into that history.
Does it freak you out at all? Like, are you okay with it? Are you just accepting of it?
At first, I was so scared because I didn't want to tell nobody. I was like, they're going to think I'm so crazy.
I'm guessing from
And
your
then
accent, you're somewhere near Kentucky, Tennessee.
Appalachian Hills of Kentucky.
Okay, yeah. I have family in Kentucky.
We have
I have
somebody in the
family.
Appalachians on the live stream here in the chat as well. So, yeah, it's 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 difficult when you first realize it that you have a gift, or if you're seeing different things than you were seeing. Have you talked to anybody about it? Like, or you just kind of keep it to yourself?
Well, I don't. I'm sorry if I interrupted you.
No, you're okay.
I'm a Christian, so we're taught don't none of that hearsay stuff. Should the only thing you should be hearing is the angels of the Lord, and I've heard and seen things my whole childhood.
I get it. I was raised a Baptist.
Yep, that's exactly what I am, a Baptist.
Yeah,
And
Southern Baptist. And I remember them talking about stuff like that in the church, but my mom was a channeler. And she found a way to make it work. Because sometimes they don't understand those things. We're dealing with people who maybe aren't as evolved as others. Not everybody is in the same grade, so to speak. So to exert control, the church tells us it's of the devil, and it's not. It's a gift.
Mm-hmm. I agree because I've sat and I've thought about it many times as a kid. I was like thinking that the devil was in my ear and that he is the reason I'm seeing this and I'm hearing this because I used to hear things like it's not like normal people talking and nobody would be around.
Mm-hmm.
But the only time I heard it was when we was in cemeteries and next to water,
Mm.
Mimics, you think? Sai?
and I would
Very-
hear these voices, and sometimes it would be like a woman crying, or in a graveyard, it was like everybody was coming through the same channel on the radio.
Yeah.
All right. Just give me a minute. Everybody, if you're watching, please take the time to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell because you know I'm the queen of pop-up streams. I really am. I do have to, we are going to have to end the video right now because I have to get off this device. But we're not ending the stream, so stay on.
Stay on
And
StreamYard.
stay on
Cool.
StreamYard. If it boots you off, you know where the link is. Click the link, come back off. But I've actually been getting pretty good at this lately.
Practice makes perfect.
Practice does make perfect.
Don't go anywhere, Watering. Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Wasn't that a commercial at one time? Yeah, I think it was Alf. But I'll be right back, guys.
I was oh,
You guys all there?
David,
What's up? Yep.
what I was saying earlier, I wanted to finish. Our doctor told my husband there's no such thing as vaccine shedding. And my grandfather said, don't believe it. There is.
See, I only had the vaccines when I was a kid. I've never had one since.
Mm.
I mean, like, I never took the flu vaccines or any of that crap.
I don't either.
I
There's
mean,
no
like,
sense in it.
no, there isn't. And I mean, like, it's really weird because they were everywhere. You know, I remember signs everywhere.
We have two
And now
sides.
they're all gone. They're all the vaccine, all the flu things are gone. It's
Yeah.
freaking weird. But like, I wanted to say something to what's your name?
Watering?
Watering. You're just aware of the imprints
Yeah.
of places. So kind of think of it like a movie. Let's say everywhere you go, there's things that have happened through all history.
It's an
So
energetic
like,
imprint.
yeah, they're energetic imprints and you're just picking up on them.
Yeah, empaths are
So
real sensitive to those.
there, even years ago, I was in my apartment and I went in the backyard and I was kind of chilling, meditating, quieting myself at night, and I saw a scene of the Civil War. And it played out, and there was the Civil War, and I saw it within my inner vision and saw it all play out, and I was just like, okay.
Oh, it plays out
And I'm in the middle of Indianapolis. I'm in the middle of the city. And I'm like, all right.
David,
Wow.
1 second.
This is
Can you guys
wild.
hear me?
And then a couple days later, I'm walking down the
David,
street
1 second, please.
and I see
I don't think he can
a
hear
big
me.
old house.
Sai's
Ask him if-
talking. Can you hear her?
No, I can't hear Sai.
Okay, David, can you hear me?
Sai. Hello.
No, he can't hear
All
you.
All right, so you're the only one that can hear me.
Watering, do you hear us?
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
So what?
So you can
Watering,
hear me?
Can you hear me?
I
I
hear
can't hear.
David.
you.
David doesn't
David,
hear Sai.
Tell him to go back out.
I
and
can
come
see
back
Sai
in.
speaking, but I can't hear her.
She says go back out and come back in. It'll reset.
Chat, can you guys hear
Okay,
me?
how can hold
Tell him
up.
to get off StreamYard
Go back out.
and come and come back in. Everybody take a chance to like, share, subscribe. I do appreciate it. Chat, can you guys hear me out there?
I hear you.
Kat, Daniel, Michael Fontaine. I don't know if chat can hear me.
Chat, can you hear her?
Can you hear me
Back.
now, David?
I can hear you now.
All right.
Cool. That basically, I saw a Civil War scene play out, and I was walking down the road, and I saw a big house in the
Okay.
apartment areas that I lived in, and it looked Civil War-esque.
There's actually videos on YouTube of people who have caught it on digital video and posted it. And it's fascinating to watch.
Where they
I've
could,
seen it
where
many
You
they
can
could
times
see,
in
actually
Rose
see the
Valley.
soldiers.
they could see the alternative realities or the
You can
history.
You can see the energetic imprint of the war.
Yeah,
In Rose Valley, Kentucky, there's some videos that people was just trying to get a good video of the scenery, and they would accidentally catch soldiers
Yeah.
walking up to cannons.
Yep. They've got it on YouTube. It's amazing.
Hmm
That's a very strong energetic imprint.
I just hate feeling other people's emotions sometimes. Yeah, I mean, it was great on certain things, but when you
Did you
go into
ever
a
try to
hospital,
block it?
I
It's
don't
you
know how to.
can't block it. There's stages that an empath goes through, and it's the Sophia stage when you get so overwhelmed by all of it. That's where you stop. That's where you're able to shut it out. But up until then, it's pretty much a lesson, and you learn to deal with it. It's not a horrible thing. It's really not a horrible thing. You can use it to your advantage.
I definitely need to learn how to use it as to advantage
Yeah,
because to me, when I walk into a hospital, it just the
yeah.
amount of
Above all, just be kind. No matter what, just understand that whatever that is you're feeling off of that person, that's what they're going through, and you can relate to that because you can feel it, not because you've been through it. So
I'm not a mean person at all.
yeah, just be
I let
kind, and it'll work for you.
when my mom passed, I felt her. Like she smoked cigarettes all the time. I constantly smelled cigarettes. It was to the point felt like it was torturing me. And I spoke out loud, and I felt crazy about it. And I told mom, I said, I appreciate you being here, but please quit smoking cigarettes because it's all I smelled was this strong, overpowering cigarette smell.
Yeah, it gets into everything.
And I don't smoke, but she did. And in my home of no smokers, that's all I could smell. And even my
Yeah,
husband said, he's like, after your mom died, all I smell is cigarette smoke for some reason.
could be she was hanging around for a bit.
Yeah, well, we never got to bury her. She was cremated, and I told my dad, I said, you don't realize it feels like my mom is haunting me, telling me she needs to be put to rest. And he said, oh, you crazy. Saying she's fine. She's in a box on the shelf.
Where did
I've
she want to
heard
be?
that before. I've actually, one second, but I've actually heard that before where people that their cremated remains are still in the box,
Yeah.
they give signals that they want to be freed.
Yeah, every Mother's Day, every time it's her birthday, her death date, it's overwhelming. Like I feel like I have to do something. I need to put her to rest, and then I tell my dad, and he just says no.
Mm.
And I said, you don't realize it feels like she's torturing me in a sense, and he just says you're crazy.
I don't think she's torturing you. I don't think it's a to be mean to you or
No,
to
I mean it's like
antagonize.
emotional.
Uh, yeah, and maybe that's also too that she's letting you know she's still around and she's watching over you.
I think she's attached more to my daughter than she is me in some sense.
It could be,
Yeah.
and definitely could be. I am a psychic, and I do talk to spirits. I have multiple attachments to me that are positive, and Mud is an empath, so we can help you out as much as I can. But it's basically you can, if you're feeling overwhelmed with that feeling that your mother's there, you can ask her to calm it down, and usually they will. If it's getting too much emotionally for you.
It is. It just Mother's Day. I couldn't even celebrate it like I wanted to. You know, as a mother myself, I wanted to be happy and enjoy my husband and my kid was pampering me, and I felt stuck, like I couldn't even enjoy the day. And my mom passed away almost 7 years ago, and it's still every year. I thought, oh, it'd get better, but she's still there.
Well, my mom's been gone 10 years, and I still get her a card every Mother's Day and every birthday.
I think it's also helping you. I think releasing her would help you emotionally, it sounds like,
Yeah.
to move on from it. That's what I'm getting.
I
I'm
agree.
getting it's, and I think, coming from that angle, maybe your dad would understand better. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
my dad does not believe in absolutely nothing other than he says he's a Christian, but he's closed minded to everything.
Okay.
Yeah,
I try
I
to tell
understand
him
it.
things and he just shuts me down.
I understand that mindset. Boy, do I ever.
But maybe saying it will give you peace. You,
Yeah.
I believe if we gave her a proper burial and,
hmm
she wanted her ashes spread in the river, that's all she ever wanted. And my dad keeps denying it every year. And to me, I don't know how to explain it. It's like my sister, that's her mother too, and sister could care less. She never cared. But to me, I feel it, this pull that I want to release, and I can't, if that makes sense.
Yep.
yeah, I think it would give you some closure. I think it would give you some closure, and even if she is still hanging around after, which I think she will be, it
After
would help
7
you
years, you
still.
think?
Yeah, they can hang around as long as they want.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
what
guess.
me and my mother had growing up, she was abusive because she was not taught how to be a mother, and I told her I forgave her when I moved out. And from that day forward, we had an amazing bond, and her and my kid had the best bond ever. And it was cut short into 2 years of my child's life.
I think maybe she's
And
just looking out for you, honestly. And the smell of smoke is
Yeah, it
her
was a
letting you
dead
know she's
giveaway.
is a dead giveaway, so to speak. So I think like it's you finding some peace in it with yourself, and I think she's just there, honestly, in a good way, not in a to stir up emotions.
well, there's another thing too, is I'm an emotionally sensitive person.
Yeah,
It feels like any little thing just overwhelms my emotions, and feeling other people's pains and emotions drives me crazy.
I have a question. Would you be able to sneak a little bit of her ashes out of that urn
I could.
and put that where she wants it?
Yeah, I never thought about that.
I mean, that way it might make her happy. It might ease your heart a little bit because you know that part of her is where she enjoyed being and wanted to be. And then your dad still has some. The reason I ask is because my mom couldn't decide if she wanted to be on her azalea bushes or at the beach. So we split up her ashes and put her in both places.
Yeah, that sounds like something my mom
Yeah.
would also be like. Well,
So we
see, my
did
mom
that.
wanted to be at the river, and that's where us kids grew up. That's where she and my dad. That's where they fell in love, and I mean, every time I went down there, it's as soon as you get down there, you get out of the vehicle, and all you smell is that cigarette smoke. Like, hey, I'm here.
Yep. So sneak a little bit of her out of there and go put her feet in the water, let her be happy.
I had never even thought about that. That is a great idea. Maybe it might ease some of my Mother's Day and her birthday
Yeah.
stress.
And she wouldn't be able to complain.
She better not, but my mom, she still would.
It might also give you a little release too.
Yeah.
It's like, too, you think, oh, they've been gone this long. Is it get easier every year? But it seems like it just gets harder and harder.
Yeah, it's my mom's been gone 10 years and I still talk to her.
That's what my neighbor said too. She said my mom's been gone 23 years, and she said it's never easy.
Mm-hmm.
I think giving yourself that peace, taking a little bit and putting her a little bit of even if it's a little bit of her ashes where you know she wants to be.
Yeah.
I think that'll help you and her.
Hmm. I'll definitely do that.
And your dad, because
Eh,
he won't know a thing.
mm,
This
well,
will be
my
our
dad,
little secret, girls.
yes, sneaking my mom's out to be like sneaking her through a bedroom window as a
There you
teenager,
go.
make her feel
Oh my
like a
god.
kid again.
Oh my god. So
But
do you
how do
feel
you?
how do
Huh?
you
I'm sorry.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was
What's
gonna
your
say,
question?
how do you control them empathic feelings?
I'm not an empath, but I am a psychic, and how I do it is I know how to block everything.
Yeah, you can
And
do blocking.
I know how to block. So it's basically keeping your energy in check and knowing what your feelings are versus what somebody else's feelings are. Let me
That's the
ask you a
big one. That's the
question.
big one.
So it's like this: when you get the feeling in, you ask yourself, why would I feel that way? Why do I feel that way? Why would I feel that way? I understand that person feels that way because of a certain reason, but that doesn't mean I have to feel that way. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but with an empath, it's more instant. It's the minute you walk in the room, you get overwhelmed with it. And sometimes, if it's a lot, this is why a lot of empaths don't like large crowds, especially hyped up crowds, because the minute you
I do
walk in
not
that
do
room, it's
large
like a
crowds.
flood.
Mhm.
But what Sai says is very important. You have to realize what's your feeling and what's their feeling. And the problem that
Okay.
empaths run into a lot is that they get easily manipulated and drained
Mhm.
because we feel
Okay.
sorry for everybody.
Yeah, you can't feel sorry
Um,
for everybody.
Yeah, you have to kind of learn to be discerning and not let a sad face pull you in, because there's some people out there that are good at it.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to go with your gut. And I'm not saying they're not suffering, but there are some people out there that I would call professional sufferers.
That's
Let
like
me
they
ask
feed
Yeah,
off of it.
let
yeah.
me ask you a question. Are you a water sign?
Not what?
A water sign? Your zodiac
What's that?
sign?
Capricorn.
That's odd. That's odd for a Capricorn to be an empath.
That's what I
That's odd.
always hear.
That's odd. Um, the thing about it is because do you ground yourself? Capricorns need to ground themselves. So are you out in nature a lot?
Oh, I love nature. I have moved from the woods to the woods to the woods. I've
She's
never
in
been to city
Appalachia.
limits.
We're out there
I love
barefoot
the
up there.
woods.
We're
Yeah.
getting
Barefoot,
grounded
butt
all the
naked
time.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So I would say like that would be a hard one, like an empath that is a Capricorn because they need the ground. They need the stability. So in that helps me out in how to help you though, because like
Mhm.
it would be a lot harder if you were a water sign. But honestly, it's one, whatever you're doing around where you get the energy in from other people, stay busy. Stay very busy. So if you walk into a room, figure out what you can do in that room before you walk in that room. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Busy hands, yeah.
Busy hands. Capricorns need to be busy. They
Yeah,
need
well,
the
see, I'm
busy.
a tinker. I tinker on everything. I'm the one who, if I look at something, I'm thinking, how is it built? How is it functioning? I want to know everything about it.
Find the closest air sign, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, because they are
What is,
non-emotional.
if somebody was born June the 2nd, what would be their sign?
June the 2nd would
Mhm.
be Gemini.
That's my daughter.
Yeah. They are non-emotional, so they will help you ground yourself. They
And
will,
she's always the one telling me, "Hey, mom, it's okay. It's not that
yeah,
bad."
yeah. They're air signs are sensitive, but they're not emotional. They're not highly emotional people, so they're usually
That
more
makes sense.
level. It's more level. They're more level people and more um they don't really think outside of the box usually. They usually stay within the emotional box. So they're kind of like, okay, no, we're not going to go into like that scenario. We're going to stay in reality. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah,
So I'd say
you
find
describing my kid to a T.
an air sign. Try to stay away from water signs because those are who are going to give you those emotions the most.
Oh, well,
Mm.
so what is Capricorn?
Earth sign.
Earth. Yeah, that makes
Earth.
sense.
Yeah, you have to stay grounded. So you want to like you would it would be beneficial for you to have like a Virgo in your life or a Libra in your life, a Gemini in
Oh,
your
well,
life.
okay. April the 12th. What would that be?
April. I feel like I'm getting quizzed on Zoom. That would be uh Aries.
That's what my husband is.
Yeah, Aries. And they're pretty well grounded too. Um temperamental. Sorry, Mud. She's an Aries. That's why I said sorry, Mud. Sorry, Mud. They're temperamental, but they're emotionally usually grounded. So you would have benefit in that. Do you know what I'm saying? Those are
Hmm.
things that you will benefit you. Um, if you're pulling off the emotion of a water sign, they're highly emotional people. So be prepared before you interact with them.
Oh, it makes so much sense.
We're passionate.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what my husband says too.
Uh-huh. You can call what you want, call it girl. You it's temperamental to me.
Yeah, my husband, he's got the attitude of a jaguar. I mean, he's
Mm,
one wrong move and you get scratched.
mm. Nah,
Me,
not with
I just
Aries.
laid back.
I'm just sitting here sipping my homegrown tea.
Yes, she's keeping quiet on that one. But you want to be
Oh,
like Taurus is another good one for you because they're an earth sign too. Um, so your earth signs, some of your fire signs, and your air sign, the two air signs I mentioned, Libra and Gemini, they're gonna help you. They're gonna help ground you, and they're gonna also make you kind of level out a little bit and keep you busy. Air signs know how to keep you busy. So, and so does Aries as well. So does Aries. So they'll keep you busy. You know what I mean? And you stay busy,
mhm.
you stay grounded, you get a garden or you work outside. You need to
Yeah, it's
be,
like my kid told me, she said, Mom, let's go to the creek, which is in her yard. She said, let's take our shoes off and bury our feet in the gravel and just stand there. And I
yeah,
said, why? She said, I think it's what we need.
Feels good.
there you go.
So
She's
we
telling you.
did. and it felt amazing. I felt like this relief off my chest.
Yeah.
I thought, I said, we gotta
Mhm.
do this more often.
Yeah,
Do
you're in
you
Earth.
have gardens, right?
Yeah.
If you grow stuff, do you use any rods in your garden? Because that's what I have out here. I've got one of those electrocultures in the middle of the big garden, and let me tell you, the stuff that grows in that garden is amazing.
What do you mean by rods?
Electroculture, it's where you pull,
Copper.
yeah, it's copper wrapped around, it's a copper wire wrapped around a wooden pole that's stuck down in the ground in the middle of your garden. And you have to make
All right.
sure that that copper in the bottom goes down into the ground. And then you can do like a little curly Q at the top or something like an antenna. And what it does is it picks up ether energy out of the air and transmits it to the ground and feeds the plants. And they grow faster and better. And especially if you know when to plant, like on the new moons, you can get plants. God, the squash planted in April and it's already done 52 plus 8. We've had 60 squash off of it so far in a short time.
Hey, I just want to welcome Ricky to the panel. Hey, Ricky, how are
Hi,
you doing,
Ricky.
hon?
How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good, sir. We have a new panelist, Watering 101, and we're talking about empathic gifts and psychic gifts and stuff like that, and how to ground yourself.
Yeah, I heard y'all saying bad things about water signs. You know,
You know, I don't mean it, Ricky. I don't mean it towards you. Y'all are emotional people, though. Y'all are
no,
emotional people. No, no, you're not.
no. Well, I'm borderline anyway. I'm July 21st, so I'm right on the edge of it of cancer. So
But water signs do get that emotional. They get a little emotional. Fire signs live up till they're fiery. Earth signs are grounded, and air is air.
Yeah, I like staying here. I'm a Taurus. I like staying
Yes,
on Earth.
yes.
I attempt to stay on Earth, even though there's people in the atmosphere that are attempting to take me into heaven, quote unquote. But I'd rather be here
Yes,
on
stay
Earth.
out of your thoughts and in
Stay on
reality.
Earth, everyone. Don't try and
Stay on Earth.
escape. Stay
No.
here.
Stay
Stay
Even
grounded.
grounded.
Take your
Quit
shoes
trying to
off.
go somewhere.
yeah, stay grounded.
Kick off your
Stay
shoes.
here on Earth.
So, Ricky, did you see the pictures I showed earlier in the stream?
no, I just popped in. Probably just
Okay,
a couple
I
seconds
have
ago. I
to
made a
send
couple
them.
comments, and that's about it.
I have to send them to you because I took a picture of in the window and it reflected back a different kitchen than is mine.
It's weird.
Nice. That little
Yeah,
parallel universe thing going.
yeah, a little parallel reality type stuff going
Yeah.
on. But I'll have to send you
You
the
know, I
pictures.
really do believe that. You know, because more
That
and
and the
more I see it.
jewelry. The lady with the earring
Yeah,
and the
and we had
key.
the lady that had 3 earrings and she only had 2 before, and found another
House key.
house key that she'd never made, and crazy, and it's identical to the one she has. So there's some. I'll have to send that stuff to you, and especially the pictures, man, they were wild. I was like, whose kitchen is that? Whose fucking kitchen is that?
That's deep. Yeah,
Yeah, it's weirdness,
it's interesting
man.
to see.
It's some
Who
weirdness. We
whose
got
I
some
think
kitchen is
weirdness
that?
here.
that's like too. Me and my kid did this painting thing where you paint without even thinking,
Mm.
and
Intuitional art. Yeah.
you do not even think about it. And I'll turn my camera off for a second, or on, I guess. And I can't paint. Okay, I'm like a toddler with crayons, and I painted a snapping turtle in
Oh
less than
wow,
10 minutes.
Oh, that's good.
that's
Wow.
good.
I
That's
painted that. And
awesome.
crazy part is, my kid has a pet snapping turtle, and I was not ever thinking about that thing.
That's
But we do
amazing.
that quite often, and when it comes out, she's like, "Mom, you should be an artist." And I was like, "No." I was like, "You can put it on your wall, but I'm not getting into none of that stuff." But it's something you just don't think about it, just paint. That's what happened.
Watering, I dropped that link on electroculture in the YouTube chat if you want to ever check it out. They're on YouTube, and those are all the different channels.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
But you also have to keep in mind, Watering, that your gift may have been transferred down to your daughter.
I have thought about that many times, but she's more like her dad. She's cold, stone. She doesn't show her emotions to no one. And it's strange. Like, they gave her a shot in the leg, and she just looked at me. She's like, "Wow, Mom." I was like, "Is that all? You ain't gonna cry?" And she said, "Why would I?" I was like, "I used to fight the doctor. There had to be at least 4 nurses to hold me down to get me a shot. But you just took it and you said, 'Wow.' Is that all?"
She's a brave girl.
The grandparents. Losing skips a generation.
Yeah,
Even on
it
the
could
gift
skip
and
a
everything
Whatever
else.
her kids
generation.
did.
It didn't skip generations in my family for sure.
Yeah, it didn't with mine either, but
It
we
was
can
boom,
say
boom,
that
boom, boom.
we were all.
Also, too, it's like I can fake a smile and go about my day. She knows something's wrong.
Well, that's what I said. You may have transferred your gift.
Yeah.
And
I
in
thought,
doing
every
so,
kid's that way, but apparently not every kid is that way.
no. Mm-mm.
No,
And she
there's a lot of
may.
kids are intuitive, for just very intuitive of the situations around them and stuff. But yeah, there's many gifts though for sure that do get passed along. More I felt, the more I learn, the more I find out, and how even about for my family and stuff, I've learned a lot of things the last year or so.
When you get a chance, look at her hand. If she has the M, then that could
She
be a
has the
sign. She has the M.
Yeah.
Look for the M, the X, the cross, and the box. I have all four, but not everybody does. And not everybody has the M either. So look to see if it's on both hands. Look at that stuff. If you look, that's usually a telltale sign that there's something there.
I've got it on both.
Yeah. I got the M on both, but I have the box and the cross on both, but I don't have the X on both.
I
But
have the X on one, the box on the other.
yeah.
But I'm not psychic. I'm not. Don't want that.
No, I don't want to be an empath either. I'm good. I'm good with what I got. I'm good with what I got.
Oh,
I know.
I had an answer for her question. You can always pray over your property to keep things at peace. It works.
I do pray a lot
Yeah, I
because
pray over this property.
I do the same. I live in an area where it floods a lot, and we have had to leave our home because of flooding, and we left, and we didn't know if we was coming back to a home.
Were you in that one with that hurricane? Was that Helen?
No, I'm in
Hurricane
Kentucky,
Helene.
Mm-hmm.
but the flooding that happened in Kentucky that was all over the news,
Yeah, I heard about that.
it hit us, but not as bad as everybody else. I thank God for that. Just like the tornado that hit, that was all over the news. It was 8 miles, less than 8 miles from our home. I was
Wow.
outside. on our front porch, and I was praying and praying, and the sky was, every time it lightning struck, the sky was neon green.
Wow.
And I was praying, and I felt in my mind when I closed my eyes a bubble like a shield over my home.
That's how it works. Yeah,
And
we
even
get
to this
hurricanes.
day, I
Yeah, we
couldn't
get
imagine a
hurricanes
hurricane.
here. And we get tornadoes, but the tornadoes we get are nothing like the ones y'all get up north.
We have other tornadoes. They jumped the bluff all around here around Memphis.
We had a crazy storm here kind of last night. It passed through pretty quick though.
Well, we better get ready for some weather because this the El Nino coming through is a bad one, and we're looking at hurricanes down here. And that's what I started doing today, was prepping for hurricane, because I can't leave my chickens in the coop in a storm like that.
I know when the flooding happens, I make sure that my dog's collars are loosened up,
Yep.
and I make sure that we have everything up off the ground onto the beds.
Mm-hmm.
And I
We're in
hate
a
being
flood
that
zone. It
way.
goes right through the yard.
It's awful. The flood, we live in a trailer home, newer model, but when we had to leave here one night, our neighbor told us that it looked like our trailer was sitting in the middle of a river.
Wow.
And she said, "You will be lucky to come back to a home in the morning." And I told her, I said, "Stop talking to me." I said, "I don't want to hear this."
Don't put a negative bent on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the next day we came home, and it looked like somebody came in with a bulldozer and destroyed our driveway.
Wow.
And our home
Well,
did not have no water damage whatsoever. We got
yeah.
so lucky.
Prayer works.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I live on a hill. If I get flooded in my house, I'm in some deep.
I'm on a
some deep
corner between the intercoastal, which is the Atlantic Ocean, and a river, a very big river. So when it rains, it just runs past us. We need to get sandbags for the girl that lives behind us because her place floods.
We did buy an acre of land to move our home onto, and we're hoping this year it's our year to move. Get out of this hole and move up onto a hill.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I can't even watch a movie with flooding in it.
Mm.
Because the first time I ever experienced flooding, I was watching my niece and had my daughter, and we was laying in our bedroom asleep, and I kept hearing a knocking noise underneath their home, and I woke up and I opened my blind, and the water was almost up to the windows.
Oh my goodness.
And I got the girls ready, and I told them, I said, we have to get out of here. And I heard my plates,
Too much
glass
about the
plates,
size of their worm.
rattling
Told
in the
me sugar
cabinet.
biscuits. Fish want a worm that they can actually fit in their mouth. One time, your Uncle Frank had his worm bit right off because it was too big for the fish's mouth. And then my granny walked in holding her dentures in a jar and said, "Well, you ain't got to worry about that if the fish ain't got no teeth." I ain't so sure they were talking about. My grandpa said that men worry too much about the size of
What's
their
that?
told me sugar biscuits. Fish want a worm
What
that
is
can
that?
actually fit in their mouth. One
I
time,
don't know. It's that was weird.
That was weird.
Our floods down here aren't like that. They're over with quickly, and they're probably only knee deep. But the ones up there are really dangerous.
Many people have lost their homes and children and
Oh yeah, I
pets
lived
and the
in
wife.
North
To me, it's
Carolina.
terrible.
I lived in North Carolina for 8 years. My mom had a yarn shop. She lived up there. And Helene went through Asheville and Hendersonville and parts there around. And everywhere I had lived was flooded. My brother is still up there, but he was okay. And all the friends that I checked on, they were okay. But people west of Asheville lost their lives.
So it's terrifying. I know when
Yeah.
that water was up next to the bedroom window, and I looked back at them two little girls laying in bed asleep, and neither one of them knew how to swim.
Oh,
And I kept
wow.
thinking, I kept thinking to myself, I was like, how are we gonna get out of this? And then I looked out back and thank God we was on the slope.
Nice.
So the water was out front, but not out back yet. And I let my animals loose before I left. And my husband had to drive an old log road on a side by side to come get us. And
That's scary.
it
That
was
is scary.
still pouring rain. And them kids, they thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, kids don't. When I was little, hurricanes were exciting, but now that you're an adult, you understand the danger. So yeah,
Yeah, it's like
kids don't see
if
it.
I didn't have no kids in the home, I would have just stayed put. I would have probably threw out a fishing pole and a worm and maybe reeled in something good. But with 2 kids in the home, it scared me to death.
Mm-hmm.
Because all I could imagine was I know how to swim, but they don't.
Right.
And my kid's the size of me, so I don't know how in the world I'm going to get them, both of them out of here. I was about ready to get that kayak and throw them in it.
Well,
Yeah, got to get some life jackets. Help them to the
right.
side just in case.
Well, you know, the bad part is I have to keep a helmet and a life jacket on my front porch in case of it.
Hmm.
A bright life jacket in case I have to strap it on her and go on. Helmet's just for safety precautions because them big logs that come down through the
Yeah, the
flood
trees are
waters.
huge up there.
And that, we shouldn't have to deal with that. But we do.
Yeah.
And we manage and we move on. But I never had that issue, girl. I grew up in the middle of a holler, a mountain, on a cliff edge. I didn't have to deal with none of that stuff growing up. And then I moved here, and then it's been the same way ever since.
It's a flood zone.
Yeah, it's a flood zone, but the county won't declare it as that. That's if they did, any damage would be covered. Someone said, build an ark. I'm about to.
I do what you gotta do for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My gosh, Mighty, when you have to put your dog's collars on so loose so that if they got to, they can slip them if they get hung up on something. I do
Yeah.
it every year. I got 2 dogs. I got a Great Pyrenees and a Black Lab, and both of them. As soon as that rainstorm's coming down, they get to higher ground.
We didn't know with Helene we were even getting hit
Yeah.
because I'm 3.5 hours from Nashville. So we didn't even know we were getting hit.
Yeah. My brother was in Asheville.
The fact it spanned that far out, like
Well, not only
three and a
that
half
river, but
drive hours.
you've also got the French Broad River right below it. So there's just water everywhere coming down those mountains.
It was just
Well, too, you
crazy. Like,
wouldn't think. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
it was just crazy because our house sits high and we didn't get flooded, but the whole town
Yeah.
got flooded.
Hendersonville wasn't as bad as Asheville, but the property that we used to live on, the creek in the back rose and the backyard flooded, and the back of the shop was out on stilts and it came up to the stilts. But other than that, the house, it was on like a little rise. I think they got some water in the basement, but that was about it.
A lot of people too don't realize, when you get a flash flood, you're looking at the creek or the rivers and waiting for it to rise, but they don't pay attention to the runoff.
Right.
The runoff is what gets you because me and my kid was doing fine. I fixed her breakfast and the rain was coming down and I heard a big gush and I looked outside and there was had to be over 6 foot wave coming over the hill.
Yeah. And that first rush has all the debris in it.
Yeah, and that was it. That clogged up the tunnels to the creek, which leads if the tunnels are clogged, then that means it's going to flood. So we knew get your stuff and run, and
Yeah.
the lightning striking and everything. And I sent her to the neighbor's chicken coop, and while I was unleashing the dogs and letting them go on, and it was scary. I don't want to ever live this again. That's why I tell my husband, I gotta get out of here. Every time it rains, my kid is crying and scared.
That is.
Hey James, if you want to come up, the link is pinned. You're more than welcome to. Um, but yeah, there's like I heard where you guys are in the Appalachians and stuff. There's some weird stuff that happens out there.
Gosh, you ain't gotta tell me. You know, I heard this thing a long time ago as a kid. They said don't whistle at night.
Yeah.
Well,
Now I've
I'm a
heard a
whistler.
lot of weird stories out of the Appalachians. Are you near there?
Yeah, she lives up there.
I'm in
Oh,
it.
wow.
Everybody, I've got to cut off because I have an early morning. Excuse me. So I'm going
We
to say
kept you
good
up
night.
late, Mud. We
Yeah,
kept you
right.
up
I'm
late.
up past my bedtime.
Oh no.
Watering, it was very nice to meet you. I hope you come back on the next show.
It was very nice to meet you too, man.
You all have a good night.
Have a
Good
good
night.
night, Mud.
Bye.
See you, Mud.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ancient Native American, different creatures and all kinds of stuff up in the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of weirdness out there. I mean, like there's a lot of YouTube videos about compilations about people saying you don't want to whistle at night when you're out in there.
Yeah, I learned the hard way.
Did you
Okay,
really?
I gotta know what happens
Well,
when you
Yeah, what
whistle.
happened? I want to
Yeah, I
know.
gotta
tell
know.
you.
I want to know.
Okay. I, I'm a whistler. I whistle all the time. Well, I went out there to make sure the dogs wasn't tangled up. And me just doing my casual, I always whistle a straight tune. I don't just go off topic on my tunes. And I whistled, and I heard a whistle back. And it was a short whistle. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. So I whistled again. And I whistled a specific tune, Adam's Family. And it whistled straight back, same tune. And I don't live around nobody. There's nobody there, no crackheads, no nothing. So I got a little closer to the edge of the woods and I whistled one more time and I made it a different tune. And it whistled back. It was like this big gust of wind made every one of the trees start snapping and breaking. And you best believe my fat ass ran in the house. Scared me to death. And then I told my husband, I said, do not whistle at night.
Yeah, they get the Nunnahini, I think it is, that are up in the mountains, and
Well,
they
if
kind of
you can
tricksters.
whistle a specific tone and they whistle it back through the woods, it doesn't even sound like they're on the ground. It sounds like they're in the trees.
Probably what they're like tricksters and stuff. They
Oh
like.
hell no! Oh hell no!
That would be
So
kind of trippy.
I have
And
grew up in
you
the
don't
woods.
live
I
out
used
near
to
no
take them
one. You
out.
don't live out like near anybody.
I mean, my closest neighbor are two old people, and they're never at home. And behind me is 84 acres of woods. There's nothing. There's nobody.
That's weird. So I guess the stories are true. We got a first-hand account, Si.
Yeah, I'm not going out there.
I
I have
never
to.
believed it about the whistling. Never believed it, but now I believe it. I start my whistling when I'm about to go outside, and I cut myself off as soon as I hit that doorstep. I'm like, nope, I ain't doing that again.
No,
You're
oh
like,
hell no.
nah, I don't want to hear you guys talk back to me with your whistles.
Yeah, they're up in the trees. You think it's that monkey? You gotta remember, like, you're in
So
Kentucky.
I
Ain't
will
no
send
monkey in the
James out there
trees.
to check it out. James will go check it out for us, being the paranormal
Okay.
expert.
Go ahead,
Well,
James.
at least we know it's true. Because I was
Well,
always wondering. People say all
they
kinds of
also
things.
talk about skinwalkers.
Oh hell no. No, we don't do that.
There
Well,
has
you've seen those?
I haven't
been,
seen them.
nah,
I
I
don't
don't
want
ever
to
see
see them.
them, but there's been a lot of people talking about their dogs go from a dog and stand up like a human and turn into a human. and then back into a dog right in front of them, and then their dog ends up having a seizure and dying. And then they
What?
do a test on
What?
them, and the dog's blood contains some type of chemical.
Ricky, you ever
Like
heard of that?
this little beagle stands up on its hind legs and starts forming itself almost into a human. It doesn't look like a human, still a dog, but starts walking and acting like human, twitching its head, looking at you and everything, hits the ground and dies.
I haven't heard the dying part, but the other parts, yeah, yeah, they're
And
yeah.
then they tested it.
A skinwalker.
I sit there, I just, pow, boom, you gone.
They said there was something in the blood.
Yeah, there was a certain type of chemicals in the blood. They couldn't identify the chemical that was in their blood system.
So there's no like origin of the chemical
No, they
that they
couldn't
can.
identify it.
That's weird.
They
That's
said it's
really
something
weird.
very toxic, but they couldn't identify where the chemical came from.
Makes you wonder sometimes on some of that stuff. Is it ancient stuff like that, like skinwalkers or whatever, or
It's like, what's
is
these
the
dogs
government
digging
testing
into?
stuff? The government testing crap on people and animals and spraying stuff.
You never know what they're dropping from the sky on us.
No, for sure.
We're in a line where I live of a secretive military base. They fly over us daily. The big black choppers and all the heavy equipment. You even see some of them with their guns stuck outside of the helicopter every day, 3 or 4 times a day.
No, down up in the mountains, it's good places to hide and put stuff that you don't want people to
Well,
see.
y'all hear about this drone stuff? These drones flying all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
A neighbor guy said he was sitting in a tree stand. Old man. He ain't gonna lie to you. He said he was sitting in a tree stand and heard sound like a helicopter on top of him. He looked up and it was a drone the size of a car on like right up above his head. He said it had nothing but cameras all around the base of it.
Yeah, they've been throwing out some whole bunch of technology. They've seen that um, over in the Middle East when they found that sergeant or whatever it was up in the mountains using future technology that they hadn't released yet. Were they able to find him and his heartbeat or what? I forget exactly what they tuned in and found. But
See, the question is why? Because I watched X Files and all that when I was young, but why is it that we're born into a world where these military governmental facilities and all of this have all this knowledge and all this information about things that they don't want the public to know about? And when the public discovers certain things that they don't want us to know about, they try and basically make us look like we're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then we find out, like, wait, this is true, this is true, this is true, this is true, this is, like I've seen a UFO only one time in my entire life that I was 100% sure that's what it was. But it's like, when you see that, you question everything about everything that you knew prior. Because when I was young, I was like, maybe. And then I met people who said they'd seen them and blah, 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 blah. But because it breaks all the laws of physics, it breaks all the laws that we are told exist within the physical reality. So it's like, just like Sasquatch. Have you seen a Bigfoot or Sasquatch out in the Appalachians or no?
I'm married to him, but no.
What's that?
She said she's married to him.
I'm
That's
married to a 6'5", very hairy, redheaded man, so I call him Sasquatch.
that's fun.
But my husband believes in Sasquatch, but I don't. I said I'm the type of person I gotta see it before I believe it. And when it comes to that type of stuff,
Right.
and he said Native Americans put it on their cave walls. He said, how wouldn't you not believe it? And I said, because I ain't seen it. And he said, you don't want to see it. I said, oh, I see it every day. I'm married to it. I said, as soon as they get your DNA, you're gone.
Has he seen one?
Well, there was an incident. He was in the woods with his buddy, and they was hunting, and something jumped into the water, and they thought it was a man. They got close to it, and it was this full grown. He said it looked like an ape. He said when it stood up out of the water, it was taller than him, and they booked it and crapped their pants on the way out.
Right.
And they never looked back,
You can't blame them.
and they never went back either. But now I tell you, the place where they hunted, where they seen that, is now U.S. government owned. Nobody is allowed to go there.
So when
Really?
it what?
What?
So
Yes,
it showed up, and then the government moved in.
yeah, not even a year later. It was like 4 or 5 months later.
Somebody's backstage. Can you identify yourself? Because I can't see what your name is. Just write it in private chat. But yeah, I
Mr.
don't do
FBI.
what, Ricky?
It's James.
Oh, it's James. Just told him to come out. I'm sorry. I'm on the phone, so it doesn't show up all the time. Hey, James.
Hello. Hopefully you can hear me all right.
Yes, can hear you great. Thank you.
Good.
So, James, this is
I wasn't gonna.
Ricky.
Sorry.
I said, James, this is Ricky, and it's David, and Watering, and you know who I am. So,
Nice to meet y'all. I feel like Ricky. Where have I heard of that guy before?
I don't know.
It's the guy that keeps on wanting me to go into haunted places and check out. What is it now, Ricky? That I'm supposed to check out?
oh, you're supposed to
I guess-
whistle.
Haunted
And,
Mountains now. Yeah, I'm gonna send you in
Oh.
Haunted Mountains now. Let's see if we can find something. Well, you're the expert, so I like, following the expert.
just to let
I'm just a jack-a-leg, I've just only seen UFOs and orbs and ghosts and poltergeists and all that. I've only seen that stuff. I'm no expert though. So
Okay.
So Ricky has his own channel called Anything Possible. Ricky, you're more than welcome to post it in chat. I can't because I'm on the phone. But and James is his co-host and also has his own channel, which you can put in the chat as well. That's why I was teasing him. David and I go back years. What, David, like 8, 9 years. And Watering, we just met tonight. And I have a weird picture to send to Ricky, and hopefully he sends it to you too, James, because my camera reflected a different reality than off the window than what's there. So
I've come across accounts like that. Not with a window, but with a TV, modern TV, black screen.
right.
Where this couple, for anyone that doesn't know, I find accounts of people's experiences online, and I read them on my own show. It's Salcedo Paranormal is the name of my own show. I'm not saying that just to plug it, but it's how I find all these accounts. And this couple had just finished watching TV, and they turned off the TV and the streaming app and all that, and they were sitting in their living room, and they had this window behind them, and the curtains were closed. I believe it was reverse either way, but when they looked at the TV, they could only see one figure sitting on the couch. where there should have been two,
Wow.
almost like a shadowy figure. And then the curtains on the TV screen image were the opposite of what they were in real life. I think they were like open on the TV screen. So there's something to all that. I don't know how it works, but uh, yeah, I believe that's definitely
Always
possible.
reflections.
Yep. Reflections are odd.
It's just weird. Like the refrigerator isn't mine. The whole kitchen setup isn't mine. So I was like,
Wow.
whose kitchen is that? Whose
Yours
kitchen
in the
is that?
future. Yours in a
Makes
few months.
makes you wonder.
You get a new kitchen. You didn't know it. Surprise.
That's the way
Secret
it
renovation.
feels. I like mine better. So,
You were like 5 out of 10 stars.
Yeah, it's
well,
amazing that
I
really,
actually took.
you've seen that kind of stuff, and especially like that's amazing. You got pictures of it, because I know like a lot of like lucid dreaming and stuff like that. You're able to see and tap into that parallel universe and stuff, and I know James and myself both have told stories um, where where we're tapped into somewhere else, and um, it's just it's mind blowing. It really is. I like the one for me that makes me ask the most questions that it has pushed me into the point of knowing, hey, there's something going on here. Was when I was somewhere, talking with somebody and they're walking around and I turn around and like, hey, look, I need to get some rest. I need to go sleep. And okay. And as soon as I went to sleep there, I woke up here, just instant, totally just pop, and woke up and started looking around.
I've
And it
done
was
that
like,
lucid dreaming a few times myself.
it's wild to see that, or go to a house that, like, hey, we're going to your parents' house. And then all of a sudden you show up at his house and it's not your parents' house that but it's a different house, but it's the same people are there, the same, your parents are the same. Like I know a lot of times there was several ones, like my grandfather was still alive, he's gone here, but he was still alive there, kind of thing. It was really just kind of eerie. And it's like, man, and this makes me want to ask questions and figure out like what's going on here, because there's got to be something to it, and even the scientists are talking about having parallel universes and stuff like that. They had that multiverse where everything is kind of tied together. It's and it kind of explains stuff, and maybe that's some of the stuff. I know Sai talks a lot about the Mandela effect. I mean, and I think that's one of the things that probably are affect the Mandela effect. Because I think we're bleeding over back and forth, and that's what we're getting, seeing this, and maybe we swapping places with our other selves.
Yeah.
But
The.
I
I'm
don't know
sorry.
what.
no, go
One
ahead.
second, James. I just want to let everybody know, please hit the like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. I am the queen of pop-ups. I wanted to welcome Mike. Mike, if you want to come up, you're more than welcome to. Link is in the chat. That's on the mic with Gen X. And go check out his channel as well. So I don't know what it was. It was like there are cabinets that are in my reality that aren't in this reflection. The refrigerator's positioned differently. Even the magnets on the refrigerator are differently positioned, at least. Everything is, it's just weird. And I took that picture because I was kind of freaked out. It was almost daylight at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was on the phone and I was like, yo, it's daylight and it's not even 4 o'clock in the morning yet. And that's when I took that picture. And then looking over that picture several times is when I saw, okay, that's different. That's
Yeah.
different.
That is amazing that you caught it because I mean, so many people have experiences where they have, again, they see something different or they have a dream, they astral travel, out of body experience, whatever, and they see it then. But to actually get it on basically not filmed, but on a file to get it taken, a picture of it taken, is fascinating because I don't think I've heard of that before too much.
I was just like, what the hell? Whose kitchen is that? And I'm on the I'm sending it to people. I was like, that is not my kitchen. I took a picture of my kitchen to show the contrast, and I'm going to send it. Give me a minute, Ricky, and I'm actually going to send it to you, and so that you can see it while we're live.
No, no problem.
But I was gonna say, one of the wildest sort of alternate reality travels I had while sleeping. It does not make any sense for here. It doesn't make any sense really for anywhere, because I was in my paternal grandparents' house, and my mom was there with her husband, but it was her husband after my dad. So my former stepdad. Why they would be in that house, it blows my mind. But I was going to the bathroom, and I saw a laundry basket outside the bathroom door, and I heard my mom, and I saw my mom, and heard my former stepdad talking. And it just, once I got in the bathroom, I stopped because it made no sense. And everything at that point, not long after, faded, and woke up back here going, what the heck was that? I mean, my grandparents don't even own that house. Well, my family doesn't even, I should say. Grandparents have passed away, but my family doesn't even own that house anymore. So it really is odd.
That is really odd. Like, so did you see them actually in the house? And were you like lucid dreaming at the time, or were you fully awake?
It felt like an out of body experience, like I was physically, at least partially physically there. I saw my mom, uh, and I was walking into the bathroom, and I walked in the bathroom, and I was trying to find the light switch, and I can feel on the wall. I can feel the wall really well, and I was just, but it didn't make sense, like I said, because they don't live there. They're not even together anymore. My mom and my former stepdad, like they divorced years ago too.
Huh.
So it really, I don't know. It's just, I do feel like there are different ways to access these other alternate realities, and I think that sleep, uh, lucid dreaming, out of body experiences, whatever you want to, however, I think all these things are connected. But also accidents, like fatal accidents. I found accounts of people who they were in an accident and they survived
We are
somehow. And
officially tiny.
oops,
Okay, what was that?
I
All
don't know.
right, if somebody's watching something, just pause it or mute yourself. All right, go ahead, James.
Where people survived these accidents, and when they got back to their family members, their family members looked different, like physically different, hair color, hair length, all these things. I think eye color, and the same goes for the people that survived. Their family would say, "You look different than you did before." So I think all these alternate places do exist, and then of course that would mean you would think there are alternate versions of ourselves in all these, at least some of these places. And I
Right.
always wonder when I have these experiences, am I trading for a brief amount of time? Is someone is someone waking up here and thinking, "What the heck is this place?" You know, and then of course things go back to normal, whatever normal is, and I wake up. But I always wonder about that. Does someone find themselves here and then just wonder where here is because they don't live here in those other realities?
Well, there's a lot of accounts of that actually, where like someone's loved one or parent or whatever passed away, and then they see them like decades ago, and then they see them with a new family.
Yeah.
I know there was one time I woke up and I was lucid dreaming. I had heart palpitations for a few days. I was going into AFib. I don't know if many people know what that is, but it's where, heart rhythm that you have to have doctors to get you back in rhythm. Well, the doctors couldn't see me for another 3 or 4 days, so I dealt with that at home. I went to sleep, and when I woke up, I heard a flat line. And I looked around, and I was in the hospital. And when I looked around, it was all my dead relatives in the room. And they said, "Oh, we're so excited to see you here." And they was talking to me like normal people. I heard the monitors. I felt the bed sheets. I felt the bed I was sitting in. I could smell everything in the air. And I was just sitting there looking around. And the more I noticed, the more I realized is everyone in this room is dead. Scared me. And I came back down, is what I'm gonna call it, and woke up. And when I woke up, I was no longer an AFib.
I'm glad it
Oh,
worked out
wow.
that way. That's fascinating.
And when I went to the doctor, they said your heart's normal.
Well, that's a good thing.
Scared me to death seeing all them. But I felt everything. I heard everything. I smelled the hospital food. I knew the nurses' names and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, that knowing is a fascinating aspect because I had another one of these experiences where I fell asleep one night and I found myself back in this house again where my mom and my former stepdad used to live. And I was visiting them and their three daughters. Only problem is they only had one daughter and no other kids. And it felt normal while I was there, like I knew them all. And then when I woke up, that's when everything hit like, wait, that's not how it is here.
Well, I know my daughter did something like that to me once. She said she went to sleep and she was asleep for a lot longer than a nap should have been. And she woke up and she said, "Mom, why didn't you tell me about my older brother and my little sister?"
Hmm.
And I looked at her and said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "My older brother and my little sister." She said, "They came to me when I was asleep and they wanted to play. And we played and played and played for hours. I had two miscarriages. I had one before her and one after her. Never
Uh,
told her.
yeah.
And the oldest one was a boy and the youngest one was a girl. And I couldn't even talk. And to this day, she's 9 years old and she still says, "I dream about them every night, Mom."
Wow.
That's actually very sweet.
It is.
She said they
All
tell
right.
me all the time how much they miss me.
Aw. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up, but for those who want to party backstage, stay on panel. I'm just gonna shut down the stream. Um, Thank you everyone for coming again. Thank you to Mud. Thank you, David. Thank you, Watering, Ricky, and why can't I get your name right all the time?
Myself, it's James.
James, yeah. I get confused sometimes. So thank you everyone for showing up. Thank you, Series and Curse Zero for being on the panel earlier, and Kat, as always, Genetic on the mic, Michael Fontaine, and others. If I missed you, I do apologize. Oh, Daniel Riffle, can't forget him. So thank you everyone for coming. Again, stay on and we can party backstage. The link is still pinned in the chat if you guys want to come back and talk backstage. It's been real, everyone. Thanks for coming. We appreciate it. And see you next week. Good night.